Flagler took 2 of 3 from USC-Aiken this weekend to stay in second place in the Peach Belt Conference, a game behind Columbus State. Today, the Saints step out of league and face a powerhouse in Florida Tech. Flagler baseball starts now. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Peach Belt Conference Network, along with our producer, Juliana Maynard. I'm Dave Wenda, along with Jordan Fauci. Jordan, Florida Tech comes in 24-9 overall out of the Sunshine State Conference, and this is a club that can really hit.
Oh, this club has put up some numbers on numbers, Dave. Got a couple guys we'd like to highlight. Jacob Newton, the Canadian grad student. Last year, bit of a down year for him, batted .267 in 92 at-bats with 24 hits. However, this year, he has really turned it around, batting .355 with a team-leading 41 runs batted in, along with a pair of home runs. Along with him, we'd like to highlight Alec Eldridge, a junior. Played in 26 games last year, batted .257 as well. However, this season, batting .398, Dave.
Wow. 23
runs batted in, 2 home runs, and an OPS of over 900.
Well, as a club, they're hitting .332. That's a robust batting average as a roster. And take a look at the Saints' defense now. Across the outfield, it's Donovan Garcia getting a rare start in left, Trey Newland and Miles Colangelo. And the infielders at third is Jaden Ward, who's really solidified his position there at the hot corner. Mason Gray gets the start at short. Matthew Burke is always at second base. Luke Wellborn gets the nod at first. Behind the plate is John Fiorenza, the senior. And starting off is Nick Pfeiffer, the local product, who's been a solid contributor this year.
Oh, he has. And in the first matchup against Florida Tech, he went 4 innings with no runs allowed. He gave the team an opportunity to win.
This is his 6th start. He usually gets these off weekend starts, these non-league type games you see typically on Tuesday or Wednesday. And this is Dejanos, the shortstop, Dylan Dejanos, leading off, and the first pitch is a ball.
It shows a lot of trust, Dave, that Dave Barnett, Coach Dave Barnett, has in Nick Pfeiffer to play him in these tough matchups out of league.
Yeah, typically we're seeing Gage Voorhees and Seth Wysocki on the weekends. Here's a pop-up into foul territory, and it'll get out of play. The ERA's not stellar, 7.20 for Nick. Again, this is his 6th start. He's thrown 10 innings, allowed 13 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 5. So that walk number kind of jumps out at you. He's averaging a walk per inning. If you can get that under control, maybe the ERA comes down a little bit.
Needs to start out with strikes here, Dave, and keep the ball low. This team can really hit the ball, keep it low, keep it out of trouble.
The 1-1 to Dejanos is a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Dejanos comes in hitting .301, 40 hits already. He has no home runs, 21 RBIs, and this is a fly ball to the gap in left center. It's going to go all the way to the warning track. Dejanos will pull into second with a stand-up double, so the leadoff guy aboard here for the Panthers.
Just a nice job of opposite field hitting from Dejanos there. Nick left the ball outside, usually out of the danger zone, but kept his hands inside of the baseball and just popped that one into the left center gap, or the right center gap.
That brings up Paul Castillo, the third baseman. Castillo hitting .290. And this is a ground ball back up the middle for a base hit, and it'll score a run. Here comes Dejanos, and it's 1-0 Panthers. So a great start for Florida Tech. We talked about how well they hit the ball, and the first 2 guys reach a double and then a single, and it's a run scored for the Panthers.
Tough start for Nick. You hate to see a ground ball like that just kind of squeak through. Hopefully he can roll up another one a bit closer to his fielders and roll up a double play here, Dave.
That brings up Jacob Newton. He's the left fielder. Newton hitting .355.
Hails from Canada, Dave. It's come a long way.
Probably enjoying the warm Florida spring here. Newton with a couple of home runs, 41 runs already driven in. Here's the 0-1. Stays outside. Ball and a strike now to Newton.
Slugging percentage pretty high as well, Dave. A .514 slugging percentage. When he's hitting the ball, he's hitting it hard and he's finding gaps.
Expect the Panthers to do some running. They steal a lot of bases, 61 stolen bags and 77 attempts. And we think of Flagler as a base stealing team, a team with a lot of speed, but to compare it, Flagler has stolen 33 bases. So 61 is quite the number to put up by Florida Tech. Castillo breaks, and the pitch is fouled off. Castillo has stolen 4 bases in 7 attempts.
It's going to be a long day for the pitching staff here, along with John Fiorenza. This team likes to run. They like to keep the pressure on. And for a right-handed guy, it's not as easy. I was expecting maybe to see a lefty up starting for the Saints. However, Pfeiffer gets the start. He's going to have his hands full with this Panthers team.
The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. This one, chop foul. Pfeiffer, a local product out of St. Augustine High School. He was quite the two-way player for the Yellow Jackets. Hit .370 as a senior in high school. That was the second best mark all time in St. Augustine history, St. Augustine High School history. His brother Seth played at Walter State Community College and in the Astros organization, so a baseball family. And in Pfeiffer registers his first strikeout. So that brings up Brett Parrish, the right fielder.
Got a great head of hair on him, Dave. He has some great hair. Call that lettuce coming out of the back of his helmet there.
You should know. Parrish hitting .354. No home runs, 26 runs batted in.
Pfeiffer really has gotten no breaks here thus far in the lineup. He's not going to have many on the day, with most of the Panthers lineup batting above 300 or right around that mark.
This one's outside, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Decent crowd here. Florida Tech has traveled up some of its fans from the Melbourne area. The runner breaks. Ground ball to Ward at third. The throw to second is in time, and it's a double play. Pitcher's best friend right there, and it gets Pfeiffer out of the inning. But the Panthers score a run on a couple of hits, and they lead it 1-0. And welcome back. Bottom of the first inning, and here's a look at the lineup for the Saints. And what jumps out at you, Jordan?
Miles Colangelo, Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week. The junior from Palm Beach hit .467 in 4 games last week with 8 runs batted in, highlighted by a grand slam against the number 1 ranked University of Tampa.
Go ahead and pull it off, but don't put the defense up until we have like a foul ball or something.
Along with that, Jaden Ward was batting .351 on the year, collected 5 hits this past weekend against USC Aiken. And John Fiorenza, who's turned his already stellar season behind the plate in the box. He's hitting .312 on the season, coming off a 3-for-3 day on Sunday with a run scored and a walk in a Saints victory.
This is Trey Newland, by the way, leading it off for the Saints, the center fielder, and one of the newcomers. Lots of speed. Count is 2-1. This one's sliced foul. And let's look at the defense for the Panthers of Florida Tech. It's Newton, Schnare, and Parrish across the outfield. Third baseman is Castillo. Johannes Mann's shortstop. Nagy at second. Eldridge is at first. Dylan Owens behind the plate. And the pitcher is Aiden Prisgoda. Prisgoda pumps in. Oh, I thought it was a strike there. That's a ball. And the count runs full. Newland cooled off a little bit over the weekend, hitting .296 still. Here's the 3-2, and it's fouled out of play. 3 Saints up over 300. That's nice to see after struggling a bit at the plate a season ago. Jaden Ward leads the club with a .351 average. Fiorenza's now hitting .312, and Ashton Thomas is at .302. Here's another payoff pitch. Fly ball into right, and should be easy for Parrish. There's one out.
Even though it ended in and out for Newland, that's a great at-bat from him. Really just getting his lineup to see a lot of pitches before their first at-bat. That's what you want to see out of a leadoff guy. You don't want him to go up there, swing at the first 3 pitches. You want to get your guys to see a lot of pitches before they get their first at-bat. Great job from Newland.
This is Mason Gray, the shortstop. Gray, a freshman from Lake City. Shows bunt, and it goes foul. The Saints come in 16-13 overall. They are 9-3 in the Peach Belt Conference. That is good for second place, 1 game behind Columbus State, the number 3 team in the nation. 0-1 the count to Gray. Sliced foul. Gray, another of the speedsters, along with Newland at the top of the Saints lineup. And they are potential base stealers, both among the leaders in the Peach Belt Conference in stolen bases. Gray here behind 0-2. Hard hit ball to left field going back. And the catch is made just on the warning track, short of the wall by Jacob Newton. It's a long, loud out for Mason Gray, and there are 2 away here in the Flagler first.
Next year, that will be a home run for Mason Gray. Freshman didn't have quite enough to get it out of the park. He's had a couple of those wall balls in the last couple of games. Starting to find his power stroke, just needs to put a bit more size on and get those over the fence.
Here's Miles Colangelo, the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week, for his performance against USC Aiken over the weekend. And you saw the series more than I did. Colangelo had himself a big one.
Oh, yeah, he was instrumental. Just whenever the Saints seemed to need a hit, he was there. Getting guys on, knocking in runners at just great times for the Saints. He was huge. Really, no way. That's why he won Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week.
Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Colangelo has bumped his average up to .260. He has a home run, 16 runs batted in on the season.
Getting a steady diet of off-speed pitches from the pitcher Prisgoda.
That one inside, 3 balls and a strike. (3-1) is sliced foul out of play. Colangelo with a slow start to the season. Coaches thought he was a bit distracted, not completely focused on baseball. Here's a 3-2 pitch, another foul ball, another good at bat for the Saints. But they sat him down, had a talk with him, and got his focus right, and it's paid dividends at the plate.
Yeah, he's looked like an entirely different player, an entirely different hitter.
Hard hit ball to left, going back, and this one is gone. A home run from Miles Colangelo.
That's his second of the year. Just continues the tear that he's on. Hit a home run against the #1 ranked University of Tampa, and now he just seems to be doing damage against that entire conference, Dave. Second home run against...
So Colangelo ties it up at 1 with the solo home run. Last week, he hit .467 in 4 games with 8 runs batted in. He continues his hot tear here on a Tuesday in St. Augustine. He hit that into the wind, by the way. There's not a lot of wind, but there's a gentle wind blowing from left to right. So he had to push it out of here into a wind. And this is Ashton Thomas, the cleanup hitter. Thomas, the DH today. 1 ball and 1 strike. Thomas has had himself a good season. 302 so far. Still looking for his first homer. 17 runs batted in.
We've seen some warning track balls already and that home run.
Ground ball to second for Nagy. And that will end the inning, but not before Miles Colangelo hits a tying home run. It's 1-1 as we head to the second. Welcome back. 1-1 after the Miles Colangelo home run as we head to the top of the second inning. Leading off for the Panthers is the catcher, Dylan Owens. Breaking pitch from Pfeiffer is in for a strike. Pfeiffer, a 6'1" redshirt freshman. And he's ahead 0-2. Good looking pitch there.
Oh, that was a great breaking ball from. We've seen a couple times thus far. He's just trying to work his way into a groove in these early innings. You never want to see getting behind early in counts, stuff like that. But we've seen him just kind of settle in here. Hopefully in the second inning he continues that.
That pitch is off the plate. Florida Tech just fell out of the D2 rankings. There are 4 teams from the Sunshine State Conference ranked in the top 30, led by #1 Tampa at 26-3 on the season. And there's a strike. Pfeiffer gets Owens looking for the first out.
Settling down here, Dave. He's settling down. Need that out of the freshman.
The first baseman, number 2, Alec Eldridge.
That brings up Alec Eldridge, the first baseman.
This is someone to stay away from. He has been on an absolute tear this season. It's going to be a tough matchup here, righty-lefty, for the freshman.
398 average for Eldridge to lead the team. 47 hits, 8 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, and he's driven in 23. A slugging percentage of .534 and an on-base of .438. And he's ahead here 2-0. Interesting to bat your best hitter in the 6th hole.
Yeah, it surprised me when I was going through the lineups, looking at their roster in general. I expected to see him a lot higher in the order. However, sometimes you just have these guys who are comfortable in their spots, and you don't want to mess up with the mojo of the lineup by moving guys around. And he seems to have excelled in that 6th hole, so got to keep him there.
Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Ground ball to Burke at second, ranging to his right. And he makes the play. There are 2 gone here in the Panthers' second. Burke so steady at second base. Started every game a year ago. He started every game so far this year at second. Batting in the 9 hole, and he's starting to put it together at the plate as well.
He's everything you want out of a second baseman. Reliable. Every time the ball's hit to him, you can expect a play to be made.
This is Jack Nagy, the right fielder. Oh, second baseman, excuse me. Nagy hitting .338.
Back-to-back breaking balls there from Pfeiffer. Starting to get, that's something you see from a bit of a confidence aspect there. If he can drop that in consistently, this will really help him with his day against this hard-hitting Panthers team.
2-1 the count now. Now we've seen the success of Gage Voorhees using a lot of breaking pitches, particularly early in the count.
If you can keep, it's just all about messing with time, and Dave, that's the name of the game when it comes to hitting. If you don't have that overpowering stuff.
That one hit him. So Nagy is aboard with 2 outs, and that brings up Diego Garcia.
Garcia, one of the few guys on this in this Panthers lineup batting below 300, just a shade below, batting .298 on the year.
First pitch catches the inner part of the plate. Despite Florida Tech's gaudy record, 24-9, they are 8-7 in their league, the Sunshine State Conference, and that's good for just a tie for 4th. 0-1 pitch, swung on, strike 2. That is a tough league, the Sunshine State Conference. Flagler plays several teams in their non-league schedule. They played Tampa, as we mentioned, twice. They played Rollins, I think, twice. St. Leo is ranked, and the Saints have played 3 against the Lions. As the count here is 0-2. That ball stays outside, ball 1.
Really, everyone on this Panthers team can run, except for, it appears, you got Dylan Owens, the catcher, obviously, and Nagy, the second baseman, only 1 for 4 on the year. Really doesn't attempt many stolen bases despite the rest of his team's prowess in swiping bags.
2-2 is the count. The runner at first and 2 outs here in the second. 1-1 as our score. Panthers led off with a double and a single in the first inning to bring home their run, and then Miles Colangelo answered in the bottom of the first with a solo home run, his second of the season. And the runner will be off here with the count at 3-2 with 2 outs. And it's a walk, so now there are 2 on with 2 outs. So after quickly getting the first 2 batters, Owens and Eldridge, Nagy was hit by a pitch, and Garcia works the walk.
Got to have that pitch there as a pitcher. Looked like he just missed off that outside edge. You'd love to get that call, especially against a team that can hit the ball this well.
This is Sam Schnarr, a 368 hitter.
Florida Sun Conference.
Has driven in 25. And that one catches the outer part of the plate, strike one.
You'll often see guys, usually you want one of your better hitters, not necessarily a power guy, but someone who can hit for average in that 9-hole, just to turn the lineup over and get it back to the top of the order.
One pitch, blocked by Fiorenza. Florida Tech puts up a lot of runs. They've scored 283 runs compared to 153 for the Saints. They've played more games. They've played 33 games compared to just 23 or 29 for the Saints. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pfeiffer taking some time here, trying to get out of this jam in the second. Hard hit ball. That'll get down for a base hit and score another run. It's 2-1. The throw comes into the plate, and it's an RBI for, it's a single for Schnarr officially, and it's 2-1 Panthers. So that hit by a pitch and the walk that allowed the inning continue comes back to bite.
How quickly
Pfeiffer.
something can change. A 2-out rally started by a just losing control of the fastball a little from Pfeiffer. He hits the guy and then he just misses off the outside corner for that walk to Garcia. Turns into a run scored for the Panthers.
2 runs in scoring position for Florida Tech. Back to the top of the order into Janos.
This is a huge at-bat at this point of the game. Got the top of the lineup up now, and you have some power bats behind that you really don't want with the runners in scoring position. If Pfeiffer can manage to get out of this, it'd be huge.
1 ball and 1 strike. Panthers average 8.5 runs a game. Already 2 up here on the board in the second. This one, little nub job at the plate. It's going to score a run. Kind of bad luck there for Pfeiffer as what was a defensive type swing from Dejanos ends up as a single and an RBI, and it's 3-1.
That's a killer right there. That is a killer as a pitcher. Not barely any contact at all. Just that's how baseball is sometimes. You can smash the ball 3 times in a day and get 0 hits, or you can have a couple of those and manage an RBI single that barely leaves the or doesn't even leave the infield.
Doesn't even get back to the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
This is Castillo, who had an RBI single in the first. Runners at the corners and 2 outs. That one inside. Nothing stirring yet in the Flagler pen. Timeout called. What a job that Jeff Pelkey has done with his pitching staff. Gage Voorhees has been outstanding. 4-1 record, a 2.53 ERA, making a case at least early on here for conference honors at the end of the season. Seth Wysocki has been fantastic. He's the freshman of the year in the conference. High fly ball to Trey Newland at center, and this should end it, but not before the Panthers get 2 runs and lead at 3-1. We'll talk more about Flagler pitching when we come back here on the Peach Belt Conference Network. And welcome back, 3-1 Panthers as we head to the Flagler second. This is Luke Wellborn. It'll be Wellborn, John Fiorenza, and Jaden Ward. 5, 6, and 7 for Flagler.
Wellborn was really hitting the ball well in the previous series against USC Aiken. Batting .500 through those 3 games this past weekend. Really, the bottom half of the order for the Saints really came alive and was instrumental in them getting 2 out of 3 of those games.
There's a ground ball back up the middle, and it's a base hit for Wellborn. Leadoff man is aboard for the Saints.
This is shaping up to be one of those back and forth ball games. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here, but if Fiorenza and Jaden Ward can continue the streaks they've been on, just hitting the ball well, we might be able to tie this one up here.
Fiorenza comes in hitting .312, the senior catcher for the Saints. He has 24 hits, 6 of them doubles, also 3 homers, so he's shown some power, driven in 10. And Ward, as you mentioned, is on deck. Ward is the club leader in batting average at .351. So, again, kind of interesting to have your best hitter in the 7th spot. But as you mentioned, hitters can get comfortable with their slot in the lineup. And it's worked out well for the Saints.
Ward's bat is has been one of the key reasons why he's remained in the lineup. He was platooning time at the hot corner early in the season with Brad Vondruska. However, Jaden's bat has gotten hot, and he's been able to clean up some defensive errors that he's had that have plagued him for his career here at Flagler. But he's cleaned those up, and he's continued to hit the ball. If you can hit the ball, you'll stay in the lineup.
Absolutely. They're waiting for someone to claim that third base job, and Jaden Ward certainly has jumped on that opportunity. He's a veteran here for Flagler. It's an interesting mix of veterans and newcomers. You got guys like Newland and Mason Gray at the top of the lineup, the speedsters. Newland, a transfer from a community college, and Gray, a freshman right out of high school. And then guys like the guy at the dish right here, John Fiorenza, who's had a long career, a transfer from the College of Central Florida in Ocala. Jaden Ward, in his, I believe, at least 3rd season. I'll have to look up specifically. It's another foul ball from Fiorenza. Another good at bat from the Saints. Yeah. They're really making Priscota work.
That was one of the keys to the games I had written down before the first pitch was Saints need to work deep into counts. John doesn't hit great against lefties. The splits have right around, he's batting above 300 against right-handed pitching, below 250 against lefties. Let's see if he can do something here.
1-2, and it's grounded back up the middle. He'll step on second for one. The throw to first is in time. It's a double play turned by the Panthers, and that was really a made-to-order type double play with a weak ground ball right at the bag at second.
Yeah, that was it wasn't your traditional tailor-made double play ball, but could have been hit in an easier spot for the second baseman to turn that one. He fielded the ball pretty much on top of the bag and led him right into that throw over to first base.
So that brings up the aforementioned Ward, third baseman. Jaden having himself quite a season so far. .351, 27 hits and 77 at bats. He has 3 homers and driven in 12.
5 of those hits were this past weekend against USC Aiken as well. Bats heating up for him as it has for quite a few Flagler Saints since entering conference play.
The Saints, by the way, have not lost a conference series yet. They are in second place in the Peach Belt, 9-3 in the league. Columbus State is 10-2. Young Harris and Georgia Southwestern are tied for third, both at 8-4. Here's an 0-1 pitch, now 0-2 to Ward. Priscota has thrown 29 pitches, so fairly efficient through 1 2/3. That one is inside, ball 1. Priscota making his 10th appearance, his first start of the season. He's 2-1 on the year, 6.75 ERA. Here's his 1-2 pitch, and that's outside, ball 2. 12 innings of work. He's given up 12 hits, 10 runs, walked 8, and struck out 14. So better than a strikeout an inning for Prisgoda.
Hasn't really gotten much of that. Pierce's strikeout pitches, breaking ball, hasn't been the most accurate today. Look for him to try and work around that and try and just leave it in the dirt. If he's not going to be too accurate with it in terms of north to south, he doesn't want to hang those, because we saw that home run from Colangelo in the first inning, along with that wall ball by Mason Gray that didn't quite get out, were both breaking balls that were left up. If he can continue to get that ball, keep that ball down, that'll be a good pitch for him, and that's, I assume, why his strikeout count is so high per inning.
There's a breaking pitch, stays outside, and the count is full, so Ward has battled back from an 0-2 count to make it 3-2. Payoff pitch, ground ball to short for Dohanos. And that'll end the inning. The Saints get a hit, but no runs. Florida Tech leads it 3-1. And welcome back, top of the third. Dave Wendell along with Jordan Fauci and our producer, Liana Maynard. Glad to have you with us here on the PBC Network. 3-1, Florida Tech showed off that offense we've been talking about.
Did it in an unconventional way. Really, there wasn't a lot of hard-hit balls that previous inning off of Pfeiffer. Just a bit of some control issues and just some general unluckiness.
Jacob Newton with a base hit back up the middle. And the leadoff guy is aboard yet again for the Panthers.
That's 3 straight innings with the leadoff guy on, correct, Dave?
Not in the second inning. Owens struck out to lead off the second, but they did lead off the game with the double and then the RBI single by Castillo. So 2 out of the 3.
Oh, okay.
And that brings up Parrish.
Great head of hair on him. Sometimes you just draws you right in.
Parrish grounded into a double play to end the first.
Pfeiffer definitely looking to repeat that same outcome for him. With no outs and a runner on first, you got some speed on the bags as well.
That's the 44th pitch already for Pfeiffer through 2+.
He only went 4 innings in the first game or his first start against Florida Tech. Can't expect him to go much longer than this. We do have some action in the pen.
This is a high fly ball into the gap in left center. Ranging over is Garcia, and he makes the catch. So there's one away, and that brings up Dylan Owens.
We got the Massachusetts native Anthony Nofi warming up in the pen for the Saints. If for any reason this inning turns sideways for Pfeiffer, That's the guy coming out of the pen for the Saints.
We talked about Parrish's hair. What about Pfeiffer's stash?
Oh, the stash is a baseball classic, especially when it comes to collegiate baseball. Stashes have come back into style, really. Over the pandemic, we saw a lot of people experiment with facial hair, really not going out as much. And you've seen a lot. You've got a couple strong stashes on the Saints, just across the board. It can get the guys
Tyler
going.
Keith has one now, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, it gets the guys going. There's something about it. Baseball and mustaches go together like bread and butter.
A 1-0 pitch, nice breaking ball.
It's a fantastic breaking ball
And
there.
Owen swings through it. Last year, Pfeiffer made 9 relief appearances. He was 1-0 with a 4.09 earned run average. Struck out 7 in 11 innings of work. Redshirted back in 2020. Again, quite the high school hitter at St. Augustine High. And doesn't do any hitting these days.
A couple of our pitchers, Ryan Airy as well, the Bethune-Cookman transfer who started on Sunday, was one heck of a batter for Bethune-Cookman before he transferred over to Flagler. Speaking of mustaches as well, Anthony Nofi in the bullpen also has quite the stash. The Hanover Mass freshman who's warming up about 5'9", $170, has appeared in quite a few games. Is there?
Chopper back to the mound. Pfeiffer goes to second for 1. The relay to first is not in time, and it bounces past, but John Fiorenza's there to back up the play, so it's a fielder's choice, and there are now 2 outs.
One of the things that you got to love about John, defensively, he's great behind the plate, but just the hustle he shows. Hustling down the line. He actually beat the runner to the bag and was there for the cleanup duties after Luke Wellborn couldn't quite scoop that errant throw.
That brings up Alec Eldridge, first baseman, who grounded out to second base his first time up. First pitch, outside, ball 1. You mentioned Pfeiffer did get the start at Florida Tech back on February 15th. 4 innings of work, gave up just 2 hits, a couple walks, struck out 2. Did not allow a run in that, but didn't figure in the decision as he only had the 4 innings. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, that previous game was decided on a walk-off in the 9th inning. It was walk-off double hit by the leadoff man, Dylan DeHanos, for the Panthers. The 3-2 game came down. The Saints had the lead most of it. Just came down to some bullpen.
Ground ball off of Burke's glove.
Base hit.
And it's a hit for Eldridge. And now there are 2 on with 2 outs. And this seems kind of eerily similar to the second inning where Pfeiffer got a couple of quick outs and then allowed some base runners and then a couple of runs to score in the second with 2 away.
Yeah, it does seem great point there, Dave. It is eerily similar. Got 2 down now with runners on first and second, and you still got the heart of the lineup up. You got a guy batting .338 in Nagy, who's done damage previously.
Nagy was hit by a pitch last time and came around to score. And that was with 2 outs. Started the rally. It was Nagy being hit by a pitch. Diego Garcia worked a walk, and then just a little nubber at the
swinging
plate.
bunt.
A swinging bunt is a great way to describe it. And an RBI single for Sam Schnare. And then Dohanos followed up with a single of his own to drive in the second run of the inning and make it 3-1, and that's where we stand now. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball, foul, down the third base side. You got to give Coach Barnett a lot of credit for scheduling tough non-conference games. You look at St. Leo, they played 3 against the Lions. They're ranked. 2 against Florida Tech. They have been ranked during the year. 2 against Tampa, the number 1 team in D2. 2 against Rollins, which is a ranked team. Valdosta State, I believe, is ranked. Yeah, they're number 12, and the Saints will go play them for a second time tomorrow. I think they play them 3 times total, yes. 1 here that they played back on March 2nd, which was a 1-0 Valdosta win. And then, again, tomorrow's game, and then a late-season non-conference trip back to Georgia on April 27th.
This will pay dividends for the Saints. They're a young team. You got a couple of veterans in the lineup, but really the only senior that's an everyday player is John Fiorenza.
And there's a strikeout to end it, so Pfeiffer gets out with no damage done. Still 3-1 Panthers, though. And we're back. Bottom of the third. Saints batting down 3-1. This is Donovan Garcia. Garcia now having to scrap for at-bats and playing time after being a first-team All-Peach Belt Conference performer as a freshman last year. Mainly as a shortstop. He began the year as a right fielder. But Colangelo has kind of taken over the starting right field spot, so Garcia now playing left field today. And you like his versatility, being able to play a couple of different outfield positions and short.
Dave's done quite the job, or Dave Barnett has done quite the job with the Saints in terms of just plugging guys into different spots, unconventional spots. We've seen that a lot with Ashton Thomas, who played pretty much first base and designated hitter last year, putting him out in left just to keep his bat in the lineup. But that has put the squeeze on a couple guys, Garcia being one of them, who's lost out on some playing time because of that versatility.
The 0-2 hammered to left, a line drive, and this one will carry him off the wall, and Garcia will speed into second with the leadoff double. We're waiting for Garcia's bat to come alive. He came in hitting .244, just 20 hits and 82 at-bats, 6 doubles, no home runs, and 13 runs batted in. And you figure he was going to heat up at some point after that great freshman season he turned in a year ago, and that was a hard-hit ball that jumped off his bat.
We've seen quite a few of those today, especially to that pull side for right-handed batting. We've seen this, that's the third warning track ball. We had that home run by Miles Colangelo, the loud out by Mason Gray, and now you have Donovan Garcia, who just rips a double off of the wall. Hopefully the Saints bats can continue to stay or just heat up here. A leadoff double can definitely kick that off, though.
Matthew Burke is the hitter, the second baseman, 9-hole hitter, and he's really settled into that spot. Burke hitting .277, 28 hits, driven in just 6. You don't expect a lot of RBIs out of the 9-hole.
He started off the year in that 2-hole with
hard hit line drive to the gap in left center. This will easily score Garcia. It's bobbled by the second baseman. Burke will stretch it, and it's a double for Matthew Burke, hustling into second.
That's some heads-up base running from Burke. That's another reason why, even when his bat hasn't been great, he's stayed in the lineup. He saw the bobble out in the gap by the center fielder, got on his horse, and stretched what would have been a single for most guys into a double.
Now back to the top of the order and Trey Newland. So back-to-back doubles to lead off the third has Flagler within a run at 3-2. Newland flew out to right field his first time. And looks at a first pitch ball. Newland, a transfer from Prince George's Community College, led the Owls with a .365 batting average in 2021. Was also second in slugging and on base. Led the Owls with 27 hits, 24 runs scored, and 13 stolen bases. And this is a ground ball to second. Lots of English on that one. Nagy makes the play, and the first out of the inning is recorded.
It's a productive out, though, Dave. It is a productive out, moving that runner over from second to third. Now you just need a fly ball, score him.
And we'll see if Mason Gray can deliver again. You mentioned long fly ball from Gray was caught just short of the track in left field by Newton back in the first inning.
It's the stirrups, Dave. It's the stirrups. You don't see much of that anymore. However, it's a great look, and I'm glad that someone is keeping that tradition alive here for the Saints.
I love the stirrups. Reminds me of Mickey Rivers, the great center fielder for the Yankees on their World Series teams back in the 70s, before your time. Had really pronounced stirrups.
When I think of stirrups, I think of A-Rod. I think that shows the age difference here.
Okay. 0-1 the count to Mason Gray. And it's a fly ball, exactly what you ordered up. It's caught by the center fielder Schneier. Tagging and scoring is Matthew Burke, and we have a tie game, 3-3.
Mason was a little confused there. He did the normal wiping off the bag celebration that the Saints have done after every double this season. He didn't realize that one was caught. Does the job anyway. We got a tie ball game now, and the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week in the box for the Saints, Miles Colangelo.
Colangelo with the solo homer in the first, continuing his hot streak. First pitch strike to Colangelo. Miles has some pop. As we saw, launched one to left field.
Yeah, when he gets a hold of one, it goes a country mile, Dave.
1-1 the count. And another fly ball. This one's going to drift into foul territory and out of play. Got under that one. Well, we expect an entertaining game, knowing that Florida Tech can hit the cover off the ball. They steal bases, they hit for average, they score tons of runs. Flagler has relied more on pitching than hitting this season, although the hitting is better than it was a year ago. They come in hitting .265 as a team. Both teams very competitive.
Saints have been competitive in most of their games this season. Really not getting blown out throughout most of the year. They when you play the game fundamentally and you have good pitching, you have a solid defense, you can manufacture runs, you're going to stay in most of the games that you play, and that's what they've done all year.
2-2 the count to Colangelo with 2 outs and the base is empty. Breaking pitch outside. It's interesting that Flagler's still not even receiving votes in the D2 poll, or they're not among the ones also receiving votes at the bottom of the poll. Their overall record is maybe what's holding them back at 16-13, but 9-3 in the Peach Belt Conference, the second place team in the conference, and you would think that would warrant some consideration from the poll voters.
Have to imagine that's going to change in the coming days, coming series, as the Saints just continue to win ball games. Writers are going to eventually.
Ground ball to the pitcher, tough play, and he airmails the throw. Colangelo makes the turn and heads for second, and now he's going to dig for third and then think better of it. And I think he caught sight of Dave Barnett as he came around second, and Barnett wisely sent him back to second. You don't want to make the third out of the inning at third base.
Yeah, I think if Colangelo continued rounding third, Dave was going to come out and make a form tackle on him.
I'd like to see that.
And when you have someone like Ashton Thomas coming up next, affectionately nicknamed Bam Bam, you don't want to make that third out.
Thomas grounded out to second his first time up. Swings at the first pitch. Thomas is a free swinger. He'll offer at things that are sometimes out of the strike zone and often gets himself behind in the count early, but
he's dangerous.
It's dangerous, and it's paid off for him in some respects because he is aggressive going after what he thinks are hittable pitches. 0-1, and there you go. Ground ball, base hit, and they're going to send Colangelo, and the Saints have taken the lead 4-3 on the RBI single by Ashton Thomas.
That's what Dave Barnett likes to see. Capitalizing on errors. That inning should have been over. However, the pitcher airmails a throw, some aggressive base running from Miles Colangelo, and some timely hitting from Ashton Thomas. Now the Saints have a lead with the heart of the lineup set to go here.
Here's Luke Wellborn, who had a single his first time. We talked about the tough schedule, the tough non-league schedule, but the Saints look very competitive, even though they've lost some of those games. To Valdosta, notably, the 1-0 loss. They lost to Tampa. I think both of the losses to Tampa were by 1 run.
Yep.
Or 2 runs in the first one, 4-2 on the road, and then 7-6 here. Tampa, the #1 team in the nation.
No loss is a good loss, but when you're keeping it close against top-level talent like the Saints have, they're not bad losses.
So the only Peach Belt Conference team that is ranked is Columbus State, #3. And then you look at the Sunshine State Conference. They have 4 representatives in the top 30. Here's the 0-2, and therefore strike 3. Wellborn is retired, and the Saints are done in the third, but not before reclaiming the lead on 3 runs in the inning. It's 4-3 Flagler. Probably move that over. You ready?
Yep.
Welcome back. Top of the fourth. Saints have a 4-3 lead. Here with the play-by-play is Jordan Fauci.
Leading it off here for Florida Tech is going to be number 23, Diego Garcia. On the mound, we got a pitching change. The Hanover, Mass native Anthony Nofi is on the mound as he drops in a first pitch ball, it appears, on a breaking ball, just missed in the top of the zone. Through 14 innings, as that one is crushed into deep center field off of that tall wall. It's going to be extra bases here for Garcia, as that's going to be a leadoff double for the designated hitter for Florida Tech. Coming up now is going to be Sam Schnarr. Schnarr on the day has that RBI single back in the second inning. Back to Nofi, though, on the year, hasn't pitched all too much in terms of any starts. He's been mainly a reliever for the Saints, as there's a bunt shown by Schnarr. It's going to go just foul. He's only allowed 8 earned runs through 14 and a third innings pitched. Allowed a leadoff double there to Garcia. Looks to settle down here with Schnarr.
That closes the book on Pfeiffer. 3 innings of work, 57 pitches, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs. They're all earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts.
0-1 pitch is going to be in the dirt. Evening up the count now at a ball and a strike. Nofi, a true freshman, hails from Hanover High School up in Massachusetts. Happy to see another Northeastern guy down here. I personally hail from Boston, Massachusetts, just outside of the city in East Boston. But it's nice to see another guy from the Northeast down here. I know definitely came down here for the weather and the opportunities. That one's grounded down the first baseline, just going to barely squirt foul. Would have been easy out there for Luke Wellborn over at first. Count is going to be now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Nofi not a big guy. 5'9", lefty, 170 pounds. Did play football in high school, along with baseball.
You always need a soft lefty on the roster, as that ball is flown into deep right field. Colangelo underneath it. Might be enough to tag, as the runner, Garcia, is going to get in safely at third. Productive out there for the Panthers. Got 1 down with the top of the lineup coming back around. Now batting is going to be the shortstop, Dylan DeHanos. DeHanos is 2 for 2 on the day with an RBI and a double. He had that leadoff double to start off the game back in the first, and he ended up coming around to score. Then had that RBI single in the second inning as he watched a first pitch strike. Ball's grounded. It's going to get through and score the run. Garcia from third. Got a tie ball game now in St. Augustine, Florida, yet again, as a leadoff double turns into runs for the Panthers. Coming up now is going to be Paul Castillo, the third baseman.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. The Panthers got a run in the first. Saints answer with a Colangelo home run, and then a couple of more runs for the Panthers with 2 outs.
As that one is hit down the line and drifting right. Colangelo underneath to make the play. Nearly gets the runner, DeHanos, at first.
Yeah, that's a tough play as the ball is tailing away from you. You're having to make the play on the run, and the spin of that ball is carrying it away from you. Colangelo does a good job of staying with the catch, and then has the heads up, has the perspective to throw to first, trying to double off the runner, DeHanos.
Yeah, heads-up play there from Colangelo, the reigning Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week. Jacob Newton coming up to the dish for the Panthers. The left fielder's batting .355 on the season. He already has a hit on the day, along with a strikeout. First pitch to him. He's going to miss high for ball one.
Well, it's interesting how the Saints play this with having 2 non-league games this week. Travel to Valdosta tomorrow, so quick turnaround. And
as that pitch misses low for ball two.
You don't want to necessarily burn through any starters that you'd use in a more important Peach Belt Conference game this weekend, guys like Voorhees and Wysocki.
That one swung on and missed. Great breaking ball there from Nofi.
But you figure kind of a bullpen day today with Pfeiffer starting, now Nofi in here in the 4th.
We'd love to see some of these guys eat up innings. Also bringing in the lefty there, as you see. Nofi with the pickoff move can control this running game that has been prolific for the Panthers. That one is swung on and missed. Another great breaking ball from Nofi. We got 2s across the board here in the top of the 4th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at first, and 2 outs in the inning. Payoff pitch momentarily from Nofi. Ball is hammered down the line, drifting foul, and that's going to get into the parking lot here at Drysdale Field.
Now, we talked about the pitching depth, and the Saints have taken a bit of a hit with Jake Hill and Robert Archibald likely both done for the season, so some of that depth in the bullpen is gone because of injuries, both with elbow issues. They've not ruled either of them out, I don't believe. As of this past weekend, they had not ruled out either returning, but Dave Barnett didn't sound very optimistic that either would make it back for any more of the 2022 season.
The count will be full now with 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner's going to be on the move here for the Panthers. As that ball just barely misses. No appeal down on the check swing from Newton. Going to have runners on first and second now with 2 down. And Brett Parrish coming to the plate. Parrish on the day's 0 for 2.
Nofi really wanted that pitch.
Yeah, you got to have that one there. Surprised to see no appeal down to the field umpire, but nonetheless, starting to feel like every single inning there has been traffic with 2 outs on. Saints are struggling to finish innings here as we await the first pitch.
I always thought it was kind of strange when you have a 2-umpire system like much of minor league baseball has, when you ask for an appeal from the base umpire, but the base umpire not down the line like you would see in Major League Baseball. It's more just an opinion, not whether or not he could have a good vantage point on whether the swing was a swing.
As we see another check swing there.
And there is an appeal.
Yeah. The best guy, really, for the call is going to be the third baseman for lefties and the opposing coach on offense. Not going to get a unbiased opinion out of either of them, as the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes as Nofi drops in a breaking ball for strike 2. Bit of a chilly day here in St. Augustine, starting to cool down as the sun goes down. It was high of 75 today, and it seems to drop now into low 70s, high 60s. Count's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes as that pitch misses. And there's a great breaking ball there from Nofi. Dropped it in for strike 3. Bit of danger for the Saints, but Nofi works his way out of a jam. The Panthers leave 2 runners on, and we're back with the bottom of the 4th inning momentarily. This is Jordan Fauci and Dave Wenda, and some Peach Belt Conference baseball. And we are back here with the bottom of the 4th inning. John Fiorenza stepping up to the plate. Anthony Prisgota still on the mound for the Panthers. John watches a first pitch breaking ball just outside for ball 1. Fiorenza on the day is 0 for 1. As he smashed that one right back up the middle. It's going to get down for a leadoff single for the Saints catcher. Coming up now is going to be Jaden Ward, just the man you want to see stepping up to the plate with the bat. He's batting .351 on the year, even though he is 0 for 1 on the day.
Yeah, Fiorenza continues to hit the ball very well. And dealt with that thumb injury a year ago that really affected him at the plate.
He also re-aggravated that thumb on Sunday, was able to finish the game, but he took a foul ball right off of that previously injured thumb. Glad to see he's still in the lineup. As that one is grounded to the third baseman. No play at second. On to first is going to be in time. Runner moves up from second. Productive out there for the Saints. And coming up to the plate's now going to be the left fielder, Donovan Garcia.
Garcia hit the ball very hard his first time up, a double to left. Like to see him, if the Saints could get Garcia untracked and hitting the way he did a season ago, that'd be a real plus for this Flagler offense.
Oh, it would be huge. Be huge. Stepping up to the plate now with a runner in scoring position. That pitch misses high for ball 1 to the Saints left fielder.
Yeah, Florida Tech has the same issue. I mean, they're playing a non-league game here. They don't want to burn through too much of their pitching. They don't want to go too many pitchers deep in the bullpen. So they're looking for a good outing here from Prisgota.
Speaking of the bullpen, they do have a man up working in the pen.
Unlike the Saints who play tomorrow, the Florida Tech does not play again until Friday when they're back in Sunshine State Conference action at Lynn University.
Count will be 1 ball and 1 strike after that breaking ball dropped in. Back-to-back breaking balls there from Prisgota. Count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Garcia. I want to talk about Garcia's fluctuating playing time after such a strong freshman campaign. He's been struggling to get at bats, Dave.
He has, and to his credit, he was a team-first guy who said, yeah, I'm willing to move from shortstop, where I had my all-conference season as a freshman, to right field if it helps the club and it gets Mason Gray into the lineup. Gray, a very good defensive shortstop, as was Garcia, but Gray perhaps with a little more range and certainly the speed offensively, so they wanted to get Gray into the lineup, and to his credit, Garcia was willing to make the position change, but his offense has suffered a bit. I'm not sure if that one had anything to do with the other, but now getting to play in left field, and he's such a good defender.
As he crushes that one down the line, that's going to be foul, but that's going to get hit off the light post all the way out there at the left field wall. Got a 2-2 count here to the Saints left fielder, but it's rare to see, and just speaks to the character of Donovan Garcia that he was able to make that change and not really complain about the lack of playing time that he's seen.
Right, and he got most of the starts early in the season, as you know, they figured he'd pick up right where he left off as a first-team all-conference pick last year, and it hasn't worked out as well at the plate, but still plenty of games for him to get hot again, and he could probably provide a little of an upgrade defensively at left field. Ashton Thomas, it's been a bit of a revolving door, but Ashton Thomas, in earning at-bats from his offensive ability, got playing time in left, but it's been a bit of an adventure defensively for Ashton out there, and he's often replaced in the late innings with a Saints lead for defensive purposes as Garcia works the walk.
That was a great at-bat there from Donovan Garcia. Worked the walk there. And now we're going to have Matthew Burke stepping up to the plate. 1 for 1 on the day, had that RBI double, as we're going to have a conference out here on the mound, perhaps a pitching change for the Panthers with a couple guys on and a runner in scoring position. As they make this change, we're going to run through a couple of our corporate sponsors. Applebee's, free queso and chips the same night after a Saints victory. Academy Bus, we know the way. The Bailey Group, no matter where you want to go, we'll help you get there. Ameris Bank, savings for the expected and unexpected. Birchall & Company, find your home today. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. Coming out to the mound is going to be Daniel Vasaleo.
Is it not?
The right
The roster here.
the right-hand pitcher, stands 5'10", $160. The sophomore from Lutz, Florida.
The roster thing is off.
As he continues to warm up here, we're going to run through just a few more of our corporate sponsors. Carmelo's, delivering old world quality. Carrabba's, so close you can taste it. South State Bank, welcome to banking forward. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken.
Yeah.
So as Danny Vasallo comes in, Dave, could you bring us through what he's looking like on the season in terms of just his overall stats?
Okay, I'll have to reach across you to do that because I don't have the great vision as I get older. Vasallo making his 13th appearance. He started one game. He's 4-1 with a good ERA, 2.95. 39 2/3 innings of work. He's given up 40 hits, 15 runs, 13 of them earned, and walked 6, struck out 45 in 39 innings of work. So big strikeout numbers for Vasallo. We're not sure how we're saying that. He's not on their pronunciation guide. So I've heard a couple of different pronunciations. I'll leave it to you, Jordan, doing play-by-play, however you want to say his name.
I was going with Vasallo.
Very well could be.
It could be
Vassallo for you scoring at home.
But high strikeout numbers for the righty. He's looking for a couple of those here with one out and runners on second and first. Not great speed on the base paths for the Saints, especially John Fiorenza, not the most fleet of foot. However, you got Matthew Burke, who's hot at the plate today with that RBI double, looking to repeat that same result here in the bottom of the fourth inning in a tie ball game.
Yeah, Burke's really come on since they moved him down into the lineup to the 9 spot. He seems very comfortable there, and he's been hitting much better in the last few weeks since they made the move.
First pitch, breaking ball from Vasallo is going to drop in for a strike.
$15 hits already in the game between the two. 8 for Florida Tech, 7 for Flagler.
Back-to-back breaking balls as that one is popped up into shallow left field. Coming on and making the play for the Panthers is the left fielder Jacob Newton. Now they're 2 down for the Saints. As the top of the lineup comes back around, Trey Newland stepping up to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. His bat has cooled off as of late. However, Dave, you can talk about this. What aspect his speed brings to the top of the Saints lineup?
Well, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the defense, one. I mean, here's a guy who can beat out an infield hit that might be a ground ball out for a lot of other guys. And when he's on, he's a prolific base stealer along with Mason Gray, who's on deck right now. And he's a guy who just seems to get good at bats at the leadoff spot. He works a lot of pitches. He sees a lot of pitches. He makes the opposing pitcher work hard, goes deep into counts. and sometimes just can wear down a pitcher and either get him to make a mistake and throw one right over the plate, or potentially just walk him, and then you've got a guy on base who a walk almost can turn into a double for a guy like Newland.
As he watches that apparent pitch out there, trying to back pick Donovan Garcia at first. No throw was made. The count's going to be 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Newland also, I mean, speaking of his offensive work, but he's a great defensive center fielder. He's got so much range out there. And you don't have a ton of speed from the other corner outfielders, the guys who have gotten a lot of the playing time. You're talking about Colangelo, Ashton Thomas, and Garcia, although Garcia is by no means slow. But Newland can kind of make up for the lack of speed by the corner outfielders by the way he can handle so much space out in center.
I think his ability to cover all of that range is the reason why Dave Barnett can go with Ashton Thomas out in left field, covering up for some of the defensive deficiencies that Thomas has, but that bat is so great that you got to keep him in the lineup. Having someone like Newland has been crucial for the Saints as he has a 1-2 count. Watches that ball miss off the plate and low. Got 2s across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 on for the Saints here in the bottom of the 4th.
This is one.
That pitch is going to squirt by. Great base running there from John Fiorenza and Donovan Garcia as both of them advance. Runners will be moving on the pitch. 3-2 count here to the Saints center fielder with now 2 runners in scoring position at both second and third.
Fiorenza really read that ball well. I mean, he was right on top of it and just decided to go ahead and get the good jump when the ball squirted just out of the reach of Owens. And then Garcia has to wait for Fiorenza to make the move before he tries to take second base. So good base running from both.
It's almost like John's a catcher. As a great pitch from the pitcher, Vasallo gets Trey Newland swinging almost a sword, as they say now in the pros. Got a tie ball game going into the top of the 5th, 4-4 ball game here at Drysdale Field. Thank you for tuning in. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Leading off for the Panthers is going to be the catcher, Dylan Owens. Anthony Nofi still on the mound for the Saints as he drops in a first pitch strike. Looked like a changeup there from Nofi. Owens on the day is 0 for 2. Ground into that fielder's choice and is also struck out as he watches a ball in the dirt. Been a high-scoring ball game, not what the Saints are used to playing in, as that one is grounded or fouled back to the backstop. However, Saints have done a good job of staying in this one, clawing back, tying this game up back in the third inning, getting a lead, and then the Panthers just back and forth ball game as that one is grounded over to Gray at short. Throw on to first, scooped, and that will pull off Luke Wellborn at first. He had the scoop but bobbled it as he was coming up and lost his footing on the bag. Owens will reach for the second time today after he reached on that fielder's choice. Will reach on an E6. It's going to go down in the book. Stepping up to the plate now is going to be Alec Eldridge. The first baseman is a monster at the plate, batting .398 on the year as he wears that breaking ball off of the back. He's going to head to first base as now there will be runners on first and second. Looks like that breaking ball just slipped out of the hands of Nofi. Jack Nagy stepping up to the dish now. Nagy is 0 for 1 on the day. He has a run scored after he was hit by a pitch all the way back in the second inning. He lays down a sacrifice bunt here. Nofi's going to go to third. However, Jaden Ward drops the ball, and it's kicked by Owens, the catcher, unintentionally as he was sliding in. That's going to go down as an E5. Heads up play there from Nofi to try and cut down the lead guy. However, and just a physical error there from Jaden Ward allows a run to score and no outs to be made. Diego Garcia stepping up to the plate now, .298 on the year. He's 1 for 1 on the day. He scored 2 runs as he watches a first pitch strike. Bit of a jam here for the Saints as there are quite a few guys stretching out in the bullpen for Flagler. Nice breaking ball there from Nofi. Quick 0-2 hole here for the Panthers' designated hitter. Quick 3-pitch strike, a little bounce back there from Anthony Nofi. Gets Garcia to go down swinging there.
The center fielder, number 22, Sam.
Coming up now is going to be Sam Schneier, batting .368 on the year. Schneier's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI single. Watches a first pitch ball off the outside part of the plate. .1-0 pitch on the way here from Nofi. That's going to be a balk as Nofi shifted his shoulders there. The field ump was all on top of that. It's going to move the runners up now to second and third. Costly error, 2 costly errors from the Saints this inning. 3 actually if you count the balk. There's going to be 2 runners in scoring position now for the Panthers center fielder.
This is a E5 muffed throw from pitcher.
Got a 1-1 count now to Schneier. Infield's going to be in as Schneier watches a strike. Count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And what's this?
Breaking ball fouled down the first base line and out of play. Count will remain at a ball and 2 strikes. Nofi pitching out of the windup now as runners have really nowhere to go. Breaking ball Grounded to Burke at second. Looks the runner back from third and gets the out at first. 2 down now in the top of the 5th inning. 5-4 ball game on that error by Jaden Ward over at third base.
Dylan Dohanos.
Top of the lineup coming back around for the Panthers. Dylan Dohanos stepping up. He is 3 for 3 on the day. 2 RBIs and a double along with a run scored. It's been a catalyst for the Panthers as he watches a first pitch breaking ball in the dirt corralled by John Fiorenza. Pitch from Nofi just misses the zone there. 2 balls, no strikes to the Panthers leadoff man. Perhaps pitching around the Dohanos, who's 3 for 3 on the day. 3 quick balls, none of which have been very close to the zone. As Nofi gets one across the plate now. 3 balls and 1 strike. Back-to-back strikes from Nofi as he's battled all the way back. Runners will be on the move as the count is full with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Payoff pitch on the way, grounded back up the middle. Runner from third will score, and the runner from second's working his way around, and he will score as well. As a great day for Dylan Dohanos continues on his 4th hit of the ball game. He has 4 RBIs now as that single nets the Panthers 2 more as they take the lead 7-4.
A lot of mistakes coming back to bite the Saints in the inning. I was gone, but I know there was a throwing error. I saw a hit by a pitch. There was a balk, and it all adds up now to 3 runs in the inning.
Paul Castillo stepping up to the plate. 100% right, Dave. Just some timely errors, or costly errors for the Saints on routine plays for the most part. And that balk really hurts the Saints now as it moved both of those runners up. As that one is grounded over to Jaden Ward. Goes the short way to second to end the inning. Costly inning for the Saints as the Panthers net a 3-run lead. Coming back with the bottom of the 5th inning momentarily. This is Saints baseball on the Peach Belt Conference. And we are back here with the bottom of the 5th. Gray, Colangelo, Thomas set to bat. Masayo still on the mound here for the Panthers as the Saints look to claw back some of the 3 runs they gave up in the prior inning. They're trailing 7-4 here. Just talking about during the break, Dave, how would you say the errors in the last half inning affected the Saints?
Well, it's unfortunate, but that's why, you know, they're errors, and they can come back to bite you, as they did. I was walking by when the one batter was hit by the pitch, and you could really hear the thud of the ball, and you know, those kind of mistakes you make can come back. And you know, Flagler has had to have play from behind the entire game. They got behind in the first inning, got behind again in the second inning, finally took the lead in the third inning, but then, or in the fourth, excuse me, and then gave it right back.
As that one is grounded over to third base. Throw's going to be high. Airmailed throw. That's going to get Mason Gray over to second base. We're going to put that one down as a base hit. It's a tough play, especially with the speed that Gray possesses in that two-hole. I'm going to put that one down in the books as a base hit, along with the throwing error that allowed him to advance to second. Now we got the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week in Miles Colangelo stepping up to the plate. Need some timely hitting here, Dave.
It'd be great if Colangelo can stay hot and get a hit here. And on that previous play, you see the speed of Gray causing problems defensively. The third baseman, Castillo, knows he needs to make a quick play, a quick transfer from glove to throwing arm, and just airmailed the throw because Gray was so speedy down the line.
100% right there, Dave. Colangelo watched the first pitch, breaking ball on the inner half for strike one. Colangelo on the day is 2 for 2 with that home run all the way back in the first inning, along with an RBI single. As he gets on another one. That one is high. That one is deep. That one is gone. Miles Colangelo, have yourself a day. 2 home runs on the day. His third RBI as the Saints crawl back within 1 run. Huge home run there, Dave.
Woo. And the same place he hit the first one, essentially. I mean, just pulled both of those pitches, got underneath it a little bit, and we know that Colangelo had the power, just hasn't shown up in the stats. 1 home run coming in, and now he has tripled that total, so to speak, with the 2 home runs today, and he's got the Saints right back in the ball game.
If you hang a curveball to Miles Colangelo, you're going to have a bad time, and we saw that again here. Ashton Thomas stepping up to the plate, 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI, looking to continue his prowess here as he gets on one there. That is driven to center field, going to be an easy catch there for the center fielder, Schneer. Got 1 down in the inning. Saints down 1 with Luke Wellborn stepping up to the plate.
There's the free-swinging Thomas again. I mean, he gets a pitch early in the count that he likes, jumps all over it, and just got underneath it a piece, but again, made good contact. The Saints are hitting the ball well today.
They are. They definitely are. Thomas, I'd say, leads the Saints in allowed outs as that first pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1 to Wellborn. But in terms of just hitting the ball hard consistently, Thomas seems like every time he's getting out, he's making solid contact. As that one is grounded over to second base, ranging over and making the play. As that one is going to be safe. Looks like a bobble there from the first base. We're going to put that one down as an E4 as the second baseman, Nagy, seemed to have bounced that throw in to the first baseman, Eldridge. Got a runner on first now for the senior catcher, Johnny Fiorenza.
Yeah, Nagy made a good play. I mean, he showed a lot of range going to his left to knock that down and keep it on the infield, but then he kind of botched the simple part of the play, and it's an error, and the Saints will take it.
First pitch, breaking ball just misses. The pitcher, Vasallo, does not like that one. Gave a long stare in. Maybe a basketball term, but it applies here. That was $1 million move with a 10-cent finish on the play.
Absolutely.
At second.
Yeah, I was impressed by how much range Nagy showed, knocking that down, keeping it on the infield, and then what should have been a routine throw is where he made the mistake. 5 errors already in the game, 3 for the Panthers, 2 for the Saints. Not particularly a cleanly played game, but it's been a fun back-and-forth game, 7-6.
In terms of excitement, this game has definitely delivered. Both these teams expect to be running next practice that they hold, because it's been a sloppy one here. Ball is fouled back for the first strike of the at-bat. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Saints catcher.
After struggling so much and due to injury by no fault of his own, Fiorenza, it was really a credit to his determination that he fought his way back into the lineup in 2021. Now that he's healthy, showing what he can do. We know he's a great defensive catcher, great guy handling the staff.
As that one squeaks through for a single, no advance from Wellborn. Gonna have runners at second and first for Jaden Ward. Ward 0 for 2 on the day. However, this is the guy that you want to have with the bat. He has the highest batting average on the Saints with .351 on the year. Bit of a down day today, but he had a great series this past weekend with what we were both here for, Dave, that home run on Friday night that was an absolute bomb.
Yeah, and, the Saints don't expect to have a lot of power, a lot of home runs, but they have guys in the lineup now that are starting to hit the ball hard, making a good contact, and some of the balls now starting to fly out of Drysdale Field for Flagler.
Very minimal gust of wind here as that one is grounded foul and out of play down the third baseline. Got some gradual wind coming from left field down to right field, coming in just a little. However, that has not stopped the ball from flying out of the ballpark, especially
to left field. Yeah,
to left field.
We've seen the home runs all be to left field. Getting back to Fiorenza, he is second hit of the game. Last year, he had just one hit and very limited plate appearances, 17 at bats. But now, 2 hits in the game today, and he's been a real plus. And again, if we could get Donovan Garcia, heating back up to his freshman type levels of productivity, the Saints would be even more of a threat than they already are here in the Peach Belt Conference.
Oh, that would be fantastic for the Saints. 1-1 pitch on the way. You got one down with runners on first and second as Ward swings right through that breaking ball. 1-2 count now to the Saints' third baseman.
Ward, a couple of ground outs today looking for his first base hit. This will be a great time to deliver it.
1-2 pitch on the way from Vasallo. Swing and a miss. Looping breaking ball from Danny Vasallo gets Jaden Ward to strike out. Donovan Garcia coming back up to the plate. Garcia had that RBI double back in the third inning. Looking to repeat that performance here with a runner in scoring position along with the runner at first base.
Yeah, double and a walk. I think Garcia's probably seeing the ball pretty well today against a couple of different pitchers.
First pitch is going to miss low and outside for ball one. We've seen an offensive output from the Saints, which they sometimes struggle to hit the ball. However, bats have heated up here. Sometimes you mirror your opponent in play style. The Saints have done that today as that one misses low for ball two. You got a team that puts up runs in a hurry like Florida Tech, and the Saints have mirrored that performance pretty much today.
They really have. They hit the ball. They hit it hard. A couple of home runs from Colangelo. I don't think we've seen a stolen base yet from either team, and both teams do like to run.
That's very surprising, yeah. The Saints, we've always talked about how the Saints like to get going on the base paths. However, Florida Tech on 77 attempts has 61 steals on the year.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's prolific numbers for the university. They've played more games than Flagler. That one is hammered down the line and foul. Twos across the board here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 7-6 ball game. Donovan Garcia up at the plate. Got Luke Wellborn at second and John Fiorenza at first. Payoff pitch on the way here from Vasallo. Big looping breaking ball.
Vasallo thought he had strike three and was out of the jam.
Vasallo's pitched with a little bit of swagger here today on that previous strikeout to end the last inning. Walked off the mound, made a bit of a spectacle celebrating And that's been the second time he seemed to have shown up the home plate umpire this inning.
Yeah, he was headed to the dugout. He thought he had run up the strikeout.
3-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Back-to-back breaking balls. Gets Garcia down on strikes. Saints get 2 back on a home run from Miles Colangelo. We'll be back in just a second with the top of the 6th inning. This is Dave Wenda and Jordan Fauci on the call. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. One-run ball game here in the top of the 6th inning. Nofi still on the mound for the Saints. Newton, Parrish, Owens due to bat for the Panthers. The Saints baseball on the PBC Broadcasting Network. First pitch from Nofi on the way. Breaking ball is just going to miss just a little low there for ball 1.
Well, the fans certainly engaged, and they're treated to quite an entertaining game so far.
Swung on and missed. Count will be even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. What's great to see here, Dave, is the Flagler sports teams always coming out to support each other. I see a couple of the women's lacrosse players who have a game at home this Saturday at 11:45. Along with, we had some softball players here previously. That one is lined over to Matthew Burke at second. He makes the play easily there for the first out of the inning. Got a great head of hair coming back up to the plate. Every time he comes up, I'm going to have to comment on the hair. Brett Parrish coming up, the right fielder for Florida Tech.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Saints do a great job of supporting each other. It makes it convenient in some ways here at this Flagler Athletic Complex, because you have the soccer fields, the softball fields, now the new lacrosse field, and you can see that off in the distance and beyond left center. So the teams, they may have practice or whatnot.
That one is hit into left field. Going back is Garcia. Makes the play, ranging back towards the wall. Quick 2 outs here for the Saints. We've seen this same exact story, however, Dave. I'd like to run us through what's happened. We've gotten a couple of quick 2 outs in the inning, and they've seemed to just go off the rails.
Yeah, there's been a couple of issues. Obviously, the Panthers jumped out with those 2 base hits to lead off the game. But in the second inning, you get a couple of quick outs, and there's a hit by a pitch, a walk, and a couple of singles, and that plated a couple of runs for the Panthers. And again, in the third inning, you get a couple of quick outs, and then a single with 2 outs. So the Panthers, on the other side of that, have been opportunistic. They're good with 2 outs, and they don't necessarily hang their heads. They go up there looking to produce, regardless of how many outs there are in the inning, regardless of the count.
Yep, they've gotten 2-out rallies here as Dylan Owens is at the plate. 1-1 count here with 2 down in the top of the 6th inning. Called strike on the outer half there. Nice pitch made from Anthony Nofi. Owens on the day is 1 for 3 as that one misses just outside. 2s across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs to the Panthers catcher.
Good message.
As that one is grounded over to Burke, and that one's going to squeak through his legs. Going to go down as an error on Matthew Burke. Sloppy game on both sides as both teams now have 3 errors.
And here it goes again. You get a couple of quick outs, and then you make a mistake. You make an error. That was Mason Gray, I believe, actually.
That was.
And Mason usually very sure-handed at shortstop. That ball sharply hit, but it's a ball that Gray normally handles no problem. And the inning continues, and this is when the Panthers have been very dangerous.
And this is a dangerous person to have up at the plate. Alec Eldridge, the first baseman, batting .398 on the year with a on-base plus slugging of over 900.
Now 1 for 3 today, had a single back in the 3rd inning.
In my life. Thank you so much.
1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball is going to miss just low. We've seen quite a lot of breaking balls from Anthony Nofi, seeming to rely on that pitch.
Hey. Oh my God. You were like class too. That was fun. Hey, I have a question too.
3 straight breaking balls, all 3 of which miss. John Fiorenza trying to calm down the freshman left-hander.
You wonder if Nofi, maybe a little rattled, thought he was getting out of the inning, gets the ground ball he needed, and then now the inning continues and maybe loses a little bit of focus after the error with 2 outs.
It can happen, especially with a young guy like Nofi, as he throws 3 straight breaking balls, missing the strike zone on all 3 of those. And a familiar picture is painted here. 2 down, quick 2 outs for the Saints, and now they're runners on first and second. Dave Barnett's coming out, and we're going to get a pitching change here as we await to see who is coming out of the pen for the Saints. We got a couple of quick messages from our corporate sponsors. Fish Bites, set the hook. 5-Star Pizza, bigger, better, faster. Flagler Hospital, excellence as a way of life. Hero of Florida, your partner for the complete equipment lifestyle. Hybrid Design, advertising, graphic design, and marketing.
What's it, John? 32. Okay.
And coming up onto the mound for the Saints is going to be Davian Garcia. Garcia, a freshman from Tampa, Florida, stands 6 feet, about 175 pounds. This is Garcia's 3rd appearance of the year. He has yet to allow an earned run in 4 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 2 hits, 1 walk with 9 strikeouts. Batters only batting 118 against Garcia on the year.
And I've not had a chance to see him pitch this year, so this will be new for me. Davian Garcia, the freshman out of the Tampa area. I do not believe he's related to both Donovan and Griffin Garcia, who are brothers, also from the Tampa area. So, but it'll be interesting to see. And again, it would be kind of a bullpen day. It'd be a day where we don't see the big name pitchers, the Voorhees, the Wysocki's, even the Ryan Aries of the Saints world. So, Dave Barnett, Jeff Pelkey trying to get as much mileage out of the guys who are not the frontline pitchers on this staff.
Pelkey's done a great job with the rotation as well. Anthony Nofi, for what it's worth, did his job. He ate up some innings, and that's really all you need out of your bullpen guys in these midweek games, especially with a game tomorrow. Saints go on the road. And then you have a weekend series coming up. You just need innings to be eaten up, especially in out-of-conference games.
Absolutely. And Nofi ends up going 2 2/3, throwing 59 pitches. Pfeiffer was the starter today. He went 3 innings. So, if you can get 2 2/3, 3, maybe 4 innings out of each of these guys, that would be great. You'd love to see Garcia here eat up, 4 or 5 innings, or even finish out the game, so you don't have to burn yet another arm, particularly with that extra non-league game added in on a Wednesday. Usually the Saints will play 1 non-league contest middle of the week. Of course, the PBC games on the weekends, and always 3-game sets. So important here for Garcia to come in and have a decent outing in terms of length and quality.
As he blows a first pitch fastball right by Jack Nagy. Nagy on the day is 0 for 2. He scored 2 runs, however, reached on a fielder's choice and was hit by a pitch. As he watches a second strike as Garcia gets ahead here, looking to close the door on a possible Panthers rally.
Yeah, just when the Saints climb back in, they get 2 runs on the Miles Colangelo home run. They're down just by a single run. You want to hold it at that point, to hold that deficit at 1, so you have a chance to climb back into this one when you're batting.
And that is a great pitch there from Davian Garcia. Fastball on the outer half, strikes out Nagy swinging. Got a 7-6 ball game here at Drysdale Field. Saints coming up in just a moment. Be back in just a second with some more Saints baseball. And we are back here for the bottom of the 6th inning. Saints trail by 1. Burke, Newland, Gray set to bat here for the Saints. Daniel Vasallo still on the mound here for the Panthers. Pitched well in his 2 innings of work, or 1 2/3 innings of work thus far. First pitch to Burke. Burke shows bunt, but pulls it back as that one misses off the outside part of the plate for ball 1.
Yeah, Burke with an RBI double back in the 3rd. He's starting to see the ball very well, as a lot of the Saints are. Getting good contact.
Anything that the Saints can get out of his bat is a plus, as he watches a looping breaking ball for strike 1 to even up the count.
Yeah, and he can be a table setter in that 9 spot, too. You know, when you have Newland and Gray coming up behind you, the 1-2 hitters, if you can get on in a position like this, you really open things up offensively with those speedy guys behind you. Burke not bad in terms of a speed element as well.
He was this 2-hole guy for the Saints most of last year, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
2-1 count to the Saints second baseman. Watches a breaking ball miss high. 3-1 count now.
They just love Burke's approach to the game. I mean, they think he's a very mature player, a very smart baseball guy. Very solid defensively at second. Started every game a year ago, started every game this season, and a leadoff walk, exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yep. Patience, maturity, he does everything you need out of a second baseman, and it appears we're going to have a conference on the mound here. No change to be made, as it's the pitching coach for the Panthers coming out. Trey Newland set to bat, and we're going to take a quick word from a couple of our sponsors as they talk it over on the mound. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. The Mowry Law Firm, proud supporter of Flagler Athletics. 93 King Street, the smallest hotel in the ancient city. The Noah Bailey Group, a proud sponsor of Flagler College Athletics. And the Northeast Florida Regional Airport, the smart choice for all your air travel needs. Looking to see something out of Trey Newland here. He's 0 for 3 on the day with a strikeout. Had a ground out and a fly out as well. He's put the ball in play, however, nothing netted in terms of getting on base. Love to see something here from the Saints center fielder.
Yeah, I think this is a key moment for the Saints in the game. You're in the 6th inning, you're down a run. You have the top of the order up with a runner on, nobody out. If you can get a little something going here, and I don't know if maybe Newland bunts for a hit here or tries to bunt and move Burke into scoring position, but he's capable of beating out a bunt for a base hit.
Just as you said, Newland tries to lay down a bunt there, fouls that one down the third base line.
We've seen the pressure that the speed of the Saints has put on the defense. Of course, it's been a sloppy game, 3 errors for each team. But one of those was because of the speed of Mason Gray, who was, beating it down the line and forced the third baseman, Castillo, to make an errant throw.
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen just the speed of the Saints. That's why Dave Barnett has these guys in the lineup. And whatever the Saints can do to get Miles Colangelo back up to the plate, they need to do in this inning. 0-1 pitch on the way to, there's a pickoff play, and Burke is back just in time. You see, just as we were talking about, the speed of the Saints getting in the heads of these Panthers pitchers. Burke kind of, as we gloss over just because he's not quite as fast as it appears, that is going to be called a foul ball.
I think Newland thought the ball hit him.
Newland, yeah, that ball definitely did hit Newland. It looks like Dave Barnett's going to come down and argue. It appeared that Trey Newland pulled back his bunt attempt in time. However, the home plate umpire did not see it that way. If it stands, which it appears to, it'll be no balls and 2 strikes to the Saints center fielder.
Not a lot of argument from Coach Barnett on that one. I think he seemed to take the explanation from the home plate umpire at face value and accept it.
Yeah.
Interesting that we talk about Burke. He's not even attempted a stolen base, even though he seems speedy around the base pass when he's on. He's not attempted a stolen base. Could his first one be in the offing here?
I could definitely see it, Dave. He's a smart baseball player, a smart base runner, as well as when we see him hit the ball. Little pitch out there. I guess the Panthers had the same idea as we did up in the booth. 1-2 count now to the Saints center fielder.
And obviously they take the bunt off here with the 2 strikes on Newland, so he'll be swinging away.
Burke with not the biggest lead in the world could go from that present position, as that breaking ball almost gets away from the catcher Owens.
Yeah, we talked about Newland getting good at bats, seeing lots of pitches, and it hasn't paid off in terms of a hit today, but he's making these Panther pitchers work to get him out each time he's up.
Yes, 100%, as he gets onto a ball, but that's hit directly to the center fielder for the first out of the inning. A loud out for the Saints. Got a runner on first for the speedy Mason Gray. Could we see another bunt here, Dave?
I think so. With 1 out, why not? Gray's another guy who has the lightning fast speed.
Gray is a solid bunter, too. We've seen him, I think, in every single at-bat this game. He has attempted or shown bunt at some point.
Huh.
And most of his at-bats he does offer, even if he pulls it back, just to get that in the minds of the fielders and the pitcher. First pitch to him is going to be popped up, going down the first base line. 3 Panthers converge, but no play will be made. 0-1 hole for the Saints shortstop.
There's a lot of foul territory here at Drysdale Field, and that was a very long one for the right fielder Parrish to get there, as well as Nagy at second, Eldridge the first baseman. Kind of in no man's land, and the big dimensions of Drysdale Field help out. Mason Gray stays alive. Doesn't look like the Panthers are expecting bunt. I mean, they're
playing
back.
They're definitely playing back here, as that one gets across the plate as well. 0-2 hole now for Mason Gray. Gray on the day is 2 for 1. He has an RBI. He had that RBI single
sack fly.
RBI sack fly. He had that single earlier today, and he also scored a run as well. 0-2 pitch on the way from Vasallo. Swung on and fouled down the third base line.
Yeah, Gray able to beat out the single on a ground ball to third, and then forcing the throwing error that put him into scoring position. And he comes around to score the run back in the 5th inning.
The speed that he has is just, it's a game breaker. He has game-breaking speed, and we've seen it time and time again here as he flies that one into shallow center field. Catch will be made for the second out of the inning. But the player of the game thus far for the Saints, Miles Colangelo, stepping up to the dish. 3 for 3 on the day. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Coming off a Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week award. Dave, he hasn't seemed to slow down.
No, I mean, he could get another one this week, perhaps, if he keeps it up against Valdosta State, and the Peach Belt series against, is it Georgia College, I believe, coming up this weekend on the road. Good start to the week. Oh,
great start for the week for Colangelo. Looks to continue on that here in this at-bat. Huge spot for the Saints.
Don't look.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look. It's been a while. Not that anything comes to my mind right now.
0-1 count here for the Saints right fielder. That one is grounded over too short, goes the short way to second, and gets the out to end the inning. 7-6 ball game through 6. This is Dave Wenda and Jordan Fauci on the call. Be back in just a second with some more Flagler Saints action. And we are back here for some more Saints baseball. 7-6 ball game. Dave Wenda back on the play-by-play call. This is Jordan Fauci. I'll be back in the color commentary spot. Dave, we got a new pitcher.
Yeah, 7-6 game, and first pitch swinging. It's a line drive. to right field. Actually, the same pitcher that finished the last inning, David Garcia, is still out there. You had me panic for a second.
That's on me, Dave. Hand up. That one is on me.
And I think the Saints will try to get as much out of Davian Garcia here. Try to hold it to a close game, a 7-6 game. Is creeping in onto the grass at third is Jaden Ward. The batter is Schnarr, who's 1 for 3.
Schnarr tied for third on the Panthers in RBIs. Out of that 9 hole, just shows the length of this Panthers lineup. 1 through 9 can hit the ball, and they've shown that as they are one of the better hitting teams in Division II baseball.
They really are. It's pretty incredible. You come in with a 332 team average, and you're tied for 4th, I believe it is, in your conference. So it shows you the strength of the Sunshine State Conference. You know, a lot of people talk about across several sports, should Flagler be in the Sunshine State Conference versus the Peach Belt Conference? They're only Flagler school, or they're only Florida school in the Peach Belt, and they have to make trips to Georgia and South Carolina as a result. Here's a walk. Schnarr is aboard with 1 out here in the 7th inning. But, you know, volleyball plays a lot of games against Sunshine State Conference rivals like Rollins and Eckerd and Embry-Riddle. Baseball, obviously, plays against Tampa and St. Leo this season.
We host the Old Coast Classic for softball, which has quite a few of Sunshine State Conference.
And basketball.
And basketball,
they're a good conference in basketball as well, both men's and women's basketball. So I don't know if that's being discussed, if that'd be a better fit. It'd certainly be
a closer
some
fit.
shorter trips for our teams. Talking about going to Daytona to play Embry-Riddle on a regular basis, going to the Orlando area for Rollins, going to the Tampa area for Tampa and Eckerd.
And we wouldn't lose any of the rivalries that we've developed because we'd still play out-of-conference matchups with most of these teams.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I could see the change being made, and it would be a step up in competition in terms of baseball, definitely. Just look at the Sunshine State Conference.
The batter is Tejanos, by the way, and he's wants to attend to his bat here. I think he wants to get a little chalk or
maybe some pine tar.
Pine tar, perhaps.
Some pine tar on the bat.
Do you put pine tar in an aluminum bat? I mean, you're a former player.
Some people do. Some people don't. He has batting gloves on as well. Sometimes it's just a feel. Just makes you feel like baseball. Pine tar. It gives the impression of just the smell of pine tar, the smell of spring. Just brings back the good memories of baseball.
Popped up on the infield. Ward calls for it, and he makes the catch. There are 2 gone here in the 7th. That brings up Paul Castillo. Castillo is 1 for 4 today. He had an RBI single back in the 1st inning. So far, so good this inning for Davian Garcia.
He's come in and pitched very well. He's being very aggressive, relying a lot on his fastball and just overpowering batters like he just did to Castillo right there. Just a challenge pitch, challenge fastball, and Castillo was behind that one.
Yeah, Garcia cranking up the velocity on that last fastball. He's ahead here 0-1.
A change in pitching philosophy from...
The runner goes, the throw from Fiorenza's knees, and the runner leaped over the would-be tag from Mason Gray. Heads up base running from Schnarr to steal a base and get into scoring position.
Wow, that is just some top-tier athleticism there to jump directly over Mason Gray. But you see the arm strength that John Fiorenza has. That ball beat the runner to the bag.
It beat it easily.
Easily beat him to the bag.
Schnarr doing the kind of the hurdle. O.J. Simpson hurdle, like in the Hertz commercial. There's the strikeout, and it ends the inning, so no damage done as Garcia does his job. 7-6 as we head to the home half of the 7th. And welcome back. Flagler 7th coming up, and there's a new pitcher. It's the third pitcher of the day for the Panthers. It's number 49, Jason Englert, who's making his 7th appearance. He has no record, 3.24 ERA. He's worked 8 1/3 innings, given up 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, walked 8 and struck out 11. He'll deal with Ashton Thomas, Luke Wellborn, and John Fiorenza. 4, 5, and 6 for the Saints.
It's a dangerous part of the lineup to be pitching to, especially for the sophomore right-hander. Comes across with that sidearm delivery, different arm slot, and a different look here for the Panthers.
Thomas is 1 for 3, had an RBI single back in the 3rd inning. Foul back into the screen. Prisgoda started for the Panthers, went 3 1/3 innings, and then it was Paseo working 2 2/3. Gave up a couple of runs on the Miles Colangelo home run. And now it's Englert.
Saints are keeping this one close, Dave.
Englert's a sophomore from Tampa, 6'3", 170.
Got to get some runs out of the heart of the lineup here. You got Thomas, who is just a free swinging power hitter for the Saints, even though he hasn't hit any home runs.
Chopper to the pitcher, and Englert will toss underhanded for the out.
68.
Thomas goes quietly. That brings up Luke Wellborn, who's 1 for 3. Saints need a base runner. I want to get down to the 9th inning looking for that tying run. It'd be great to tie it here in the 7th or even pull ahead.
Just string some hits together. That's all they got to do. But it's going to be tough, especially coming off of a pitcher in Vasallo who was throwing hard but mixing in a lot of north-south breaking balls. Now you got a sidearm righty on the mound, a lot more east to west action, moving using both sides of the plate, and not as much depth in terms of high pitches and low pitches.
Yeah, he's got kind of an interesting arm slot. It's almost a sidearm delivery.
Yeah, it's as close to true sidearm as you can get without going below, more into that submarine area. It's a very low arm slot, and it could give the Saints trouble here. Just got to string together some good at-bats here.
And a defensive swing, and Wellborn is gone on strikes. Good-looking pitch from Englert. That brings up John Fiorenza, who has a couple of singles today.
John was 3 for 3 in his last game. He's now 3 for 2 today. Looking to keep it going. It's been hot as of late. Great to see the bat get going for the veteran catcher for the Saints.
Yeah, we've seen the 2-out rallies from the Panthers. Maybe one for the Saints here. Nice diving stop at third by Castillo. He gets to his feet and makes the play. Defensive highlight there for the Panthers. Ends the inning. Still 7-6 as we head to the 8th.
Jacob Newton.
Top of the 8th inning, Jacob Newton will lead things off. He's 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Davian Garcia continues on the mound for the Saints. Garcia's looked pretty good so far. Keeping it a 7-6 game.
In 1 1/3 innings of work. Only thrown 16 pitches, not allowed a run. A pair of strikeouts to his name through 5 batters that he's faced.
2-0 pitch, popped foul out of play. Garcia making just his 4th appearance. Worked 2 innings at home against Assumption and then 2/3 of an inning here against Augusta. And then 2 innings on the road at Young Harris on March 20th.
With the injuries that we have in the bullpen, you're going to see a lot more of Davian Garcia and a couple more of these arms that really haven't gotten as much action through conference play. Got to go deeper in the bullpen, and hopefully these guys can step up because the Saints bullpen has been pretty solid for them.
Yeah, it really has. Dave Barnett and pitching coach Jeff Pelkey done a great job, and they'll see what they have with some of these youngsters. This is a line drive base hit to right field. And so Newton is aboard, and that brings up Brett Parrish. You know, looking forward, I mean, the rest of this season, obviously, but then seeing what you have preparing to go into 2023 as well with some of these younger arms, guys who hopefully can contribute not only on a non-league game like this, but in conference play. Garcia got into a couple of conference games, the Augusta win, which was an 11-1 Saints blowout, and then at Young Harris, which was a 5-2 Saints loss, is not giving up an earned run this year. And it's an out at first base, so 1 gone.
The Saints, with a relatively young team, really not that many seniors. Got 2 seniors in the catchers, John Fiorenza and Tyler Keith. Then you get Ryan Airy as well. In terms of senior arms, this is a young team, and I think that's part of the reason why Coach Barnett scheduled such a hard out-of-conference schedule. Get some of these guys, get their beaks wet with some serious Division II baseball, and the Saints have responded very well from that.
They really have. I mean, they've been some close losses, but it certainly has battle-tested them and seasoned them for conference play. This is Dylan Owens, by the way. He's reached on a couple of errors.
He's getting lucky in terms of getting on base today.
Yeah, Fiorenza so good defensively, blocking that one that's down in the artificial dirt and keeping it close by. So no advancement for Newton, and then chatting with the pitcher, getting on the same page there.
We talk a lot about Jeff Pelkey, the pitching coach, but I think what's really unlocked this Saints pitching staff has been John Fiorenza, just having such a steady presence behind the plate, someone who takes the running game, takes a lot of the pressure of the running game off of you, and also allows you to throw pitches in the dirt. You don't really have to worry about balls getting by Johnny back there. He's a brick wall.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Owens, and pumps in a strike.
And then something just like that, something as simple as just going and calming down a freshman or a young arm and getting him after he almost squirts one away. He blocks the pitch, goes, talks to him, pumps the strike immediately after.
And there's a line drive base hit to center. They're going to hold the runner at third as the ball is quickly returned by Newland. The runners at the corners with 1 out, and the batter will be Alec Eldridge.
Eldridge on the day has 1 hit in 2 official ABs. He's hit by a pitch as well. He's a dangerous bat in this lineup. as we've said multiple times, batting .398 on the year.
Wow.
That's just ridiculous.
You hit .398 and you bat sixth.
Yep.
That's a pretty stout lineup.
And Davian Garcia with a challenge pitch right there. That's what you love to see. That will get the guys going. A high fastball to the best bat in this Panthers lineup. Gets them to swing right under that.
Another one. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Garcia.
Reminds me of Major League when the just give him the heater. Seems like that's what the game plan's been with these first two pitches from Garcia to Eldridge. See if he goes back with it here.
This one swung on and fouled. Garcia gives it a look down the left field line. It's out of play. So Owens stays at the plate behind 0-2.
Got to expect some sort of off speed here. Tripling up with the fastball. Maybe they bury something in the dirt.
Another foul ball.
They went with the inside cheese there. Got Eldridge to just have to fight that one off. Keeping them guessing here. Could they go 6 straight fastballs? You don't know. You never know. John calls a great game, and he's working with Garcia, and it's working him well.
Strikeout would be huge here. Get you to 2 outs with runners at the corners. And then you really don't have to worry about the runners so much.
You don't have to worry about that fly ball either. Right now, a fly ball makes this a 2-run ball game. Strikeout here would be...
And there's a hard hit ball, and this will get down for a base hit off the wall. Colangelo plays it. The run comes in to score. It is 8-6 on the RBI double from Alec Eldridge.
That's a huge hit for the Panthers. Now the Saints are in a precarious situation. Got one down with the heart of this lineup. Well, you got Nagy and Garcia both due up, but you really have no breaks with this Panthers lineup. Nagy batting .338 on the year. 1 out, runners on second and third. This is a tough situation for the Saints.
It really is. Nagy looking for his first hit of the ball game. He has scored twice. He was hit by a pitch and came around to score in the second, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the fifth and scored. Also a couple of strikeouts. Another good-looking fastball started off by Garcia to Nagy. So an insurance run has been plated here in the 8th. Panthers looking for more with 1 out, runners at second and third. Fly ball. This should score another run. Long run for Colangelo. Can't make the catch. Has to dig the ball out from the base of the fence. And both Owens and Eldridge come in to score. And it's a triple for Nagy, and now a 10-6 lead for the Panthers. As you said, there's no let-up in the lineup.
No, there's no let-up at all. That's a tough one, too. That's just a long fly ball. That's a long run for Miles Colangelo to even try to make a play on that one. And this is a big ballpark. That's a long throw, especially with how that ball hung up in the air and still managed to get down. Easy triple for Nagy.
So now they'll bring the infield in, trying to cut down a potential run and keep it a 10-6 ball game. But 3 runs already across for the Panthers here in the 8th. They lead it by 4 at 10-6. Ground ball to Ward at third. Looks the runner back, and there are 2 gone.
Got some action in the Saints' pen as well. Got a right-hander warming up out there. Hopefully Garcia can retire this next batter and hold off on burning another arm this game.
Sam Schneer's the batter. He singled in a run in the 2nd. Walked and stole a base in the 7th, but was stranded. First pitch strike. Well, you're a pitcher, former pitcher, I guess, and how does Garcia look to you? I mean, his fastball looks like it's got some life on it.
His fastball has some life on it, but it's been his breaking stuff that really hasn't been up to par. And you, especially at this level, you got guys who will just key in. If you keep going fastball, 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 guys will start to key in on that, and you'll see balls hit hard off of you, even if they're not getting down per se for hits. We've seen quite a bit of guys turn on this fastball and hit it hard. Now, if he can develop a secondary pitch off of that, just something that doesn't even have to be a great pitch because he has a great fastball. If he has something that he can work off of that, maybe a changeup or a better curveball, better slider, just something that he can switch up the tempo with and push and pull.
Yeah, something to keep the hitters honest.
Yeah, we've seen that with a lot of our guys here, especially Anthony Nofi, who's a lefty, soft-throwing lefty. You'll see a lot of off-speed from him. But Gage Voorhees, Saints ace, he has great off-speed pitches. He works off of his off-speed. Now, Garcia's a bit different. He works off of his fastball, but you still need those secondary pitches.
That one fouled out of play, hit the top of the dugout of the Panthers. Been an entertaining game, and we expected a lot of offense, and we got it. 16 runs, 23 hits combined, also 6 errors.
Yeah, it's been a very sloppy game on both sides. Can't imagine either coach is too happy about the fielding mistakes here. Both teams making costly errors. The Saints had that tough, what was that, the 5th inning, where they made those 2 errors, and then they had the balk as well, and allowed the Panthers to put up 3 runs in that inning when they should have gotten out of that inning immediately.
Florida Tech, 4th in the Sunshine State Conference, a tie for 4th with St. Leo. Saints have seen both of those teams, as well as Rollins and Tampa. So 4 of the top 5 teams. Here's a fly ball, easy for Garcia in left. And that'll end the inning, but not before the Panthers tack on 3 more and lead at 10-6. Welcome back, 10-6. Bottom of the 8th. The new pitcher for the Panthers is Andres Rodriguez, number 8. He's a 5'9" right-hander. Electrical engineering majors.
Smart guy.
Yeah, so was Englert is a chemical engineering major whose goals I read were to either be a chemical engineer or a professional baseball player.
Lofty expectations on both sides.
My goal is to be a professional baseball player. It's not working out. Here's a line drive, and this one off the wall. Jaden Ward with a leadoff double. That's exactly what the Saints need.
Yep. Got on his horse there, too. Good throw from the right fielder with the fantastic hair, Parrish. But Jaden Ward got on his horse, got to second base, and that's what you need. Hopefully the Saints can string together some hits here and get back in this game. They've seemed to have been playing from behind, it seems like almost the entire game, except for that brief flash of greatness when they had the lead back in the third.
This is Donovan Garcia, who hit the ball hard back in the third inning. A double, came in to score on the RBI double from Burke. In fact, it was back-to-back doubles to lead off that inning. The Saints could use similar action right here. First pitch is low, ball one.
Speaking of Rodriguez, 3.7 GPA in high school, 3-year varsity player, and he transferred in after a year at Eastern Florida State College. Came over to Florida Tech, pitched well, and held his opponents to a .216 batting average in his sophomore year. His third year, recorded 23 strikeouts and a save in 11 appearances through 16 innings.
I'd like to thank some of the sponsors of Flagler Athletics, including Sonny's, local pitmasters since '68. We don't just serve barbecue, we are barbecue. St. Augustine Inn, Flagler College Athletics official hotel, and Salt Life, eat, drink, and be salty. 1-0 is the count to Garcia. That one stays up. Ball two. Rodriguez doesn't look completely comfortable yet. Hometown product from Melbourne High School, playing for the Melbourne-based Florida Tech Panthers.
Averaging over a strikeout an inning as well. 14 innings pitched thus far this season. 15 Ks. Not walking any batters as well. Only 3 strikeouts compared to the 3 walks compared to the 15 strikeouts he's had. Only allowed 2 runs as well. Saints could look to tack on a couple more earned runs here, as they're still trailing 4.
The 2-1 pitch is in for strike 2. He's got a pretty lively fastball,
Yeah.
it looks like. Unfortunately, we don't have a radar gun. It'd be great to know how hard these guys are throwing.
It would. As we've kicked up the production here in the booth, that might be the next thing we're looking to add.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the Saints pitching staff has a radar gun from time to time, or maybe every game. It'd be great if we had some kind of window into what they're seeing. Count is now full to Garcia.
So if you've heard that on the broadcast, we are looking to hire someone to run the it's an unpaid position,
Yes.
and you have to supply your own radar gun. But if you'd like to help us out, we really appreciate it.
If you have a radar gun and you love college baseball, we've got a job for you. Here's the 3-2. Foul ball, drifting just out of play. Eldridge gave it a look at the fence. Garcia stays alive. Good at bat for Donovan.
Gotta stay alive here. This is winning time, as Reggie Miller once said. Getting into the end of this ball game. 6 outs left for the Saints if they can't tack on some runs here. But they got a great opportunity with the runner in scoring position and no outs.
Yeah, and your all-conference performer is the guy at the plate. The 3-2 popped up. Second baseman calls for it in short right field and makes the catch. There's 1 out here in the 8th inning. That brings up Matthew Burke, What an RBI double back in the third. Also a walk today.
Could use some timely hitting from Burke. The bat is definitely turned up for him, and he could look to continue that here today. I already said he had that nice RBI double back in, what inning was that, Dave?
The third inning.
Third inning.
First pitch is high, ball one. Rodriguez, the fourth pitcher of the day for the Panthers. Aiden Prisgoda started things off. And then it was Danny Viseo, Jason Englert, and now Rodriguez. Saints have used three pitchers. Nick Pfeiffer, Anthony Nofi, and Garcia. Davian Garcia, not Donovan.
Got a lot of Garcias on the Saints.
Yeah, Donovan and his brother Griffin, who's a backup catcher. And also kind of a utility guy. He can play around the field defensively, just not getting a lot of opportunities with Fiorenza and Tyler Keith ahead of him at the catcher position.
Expect a lot out of him, and also Johnny Crowell. Both of the we got a freshman and a sophomore catcher. After these two guys, mainstays with the program, graduate, it's going to be a hole at catcher, going to be a battle for that position.
Yep. Yeah, they've got a lot of depth right now. Fiorenza, Tyler Keith is very experienced. He's got a lot of starts last year in Fiorenza's absence.
Another good at bat from Burke. Just a solid all-around baseball player. Maturity definitely springs off the board. I know you were talking to Coach Barnett earlier about that. Just you see in his at bats, he's calm, cool, collected. He's Mr. Cool.
Yeah, he's got a great approach. Very mature. Sees a lot of pitches. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count to Burke. Swing and a miss. This one goes to the backstop, and Burke will be aboard. It's a wild pitch on the strikeout. And so the Saints have runners at the corners with 1 out. And back to the top of the order in Trey Newland.
Sometimes you have a pitch that's so great, because that was a terrible swing there from Burke. However, that pitch was so good, catcher couldn't even make a play on it. Gets right back to the backstop, and that is huge for the Saints. Now you got runners at the corners with the top of the lineup up.
Newland up for the 5th time today. Still looking for his first hit. This would be a great time to deliver. Checks his swing, and it's a foul ball.
He's put together great at bats today, Dave, and eventually it just has to turn out in his favor. He's too good of a batter.
Would you consider bunting here? I mean, it's probably
with
not
his speed,
traditional baseball strategy with 1 out and runners at first and third, but with his speed, it could be almost as like tempting to bunt for a base hit rather than a sacrifice.
That's going to be a
backhanded by the first baseman. Great defensive play by Eldridge, who gets the out at second base. So there are 2 gone. The run soars, and it's 10-7.
Luckily, with Newland's speed, pretty much you're not going to double him up there. You have absolutely no chance of turning the double play there, especially on a weak ground ball, first base side. Now you got Mason Gray up to bat, Mason Gray up to bat, and Newland at first. Newland prolific on the base paths. Could we see some movement here?
Yeah, and hopefully Gray can get on and give Colangelo another shot at it. And there he does, a line drive base hit to center field. Newland turns and heads to third, and so it's a 2-out base hit from Mason Gray, his second hit of the game. And the Saints have runners at first and second, and here comes the hero of the day offensively for Flagler, Miles Colangelo.
We have yet to see this is courtesy of our great stats and information guy, John Jordan. We have yet to see in Flagler Saints history a 3-home run day.
Now, going to get a visit to the mound. It doesn't look like they've made the move to bring in a new pitcher. Gives us a chance to tell you that if you'd like to support all Flagler athletic teams, join the Saints Club. Visit www.flaglerathletics.com and click on the Saints Club link for details. Thanking some of the corporate sponsors: 5-Star Pizza, bigger, better, faster. Flagler Hospital, excellence as a way of life. Hero of Florida, your partner for the complete equipment lifestyle. Hybrid Design, advertising, graphic design, marketing. And Jersey Mike Subs, a sub above.
I can tell you exactly what they just went over in that meeting on the mound. Stay away from Miles Colangelo. Don't throw him anything soft and on the inside part of the plate. He's crushed it every single time they've thrown it there. They're going to try and pitch around him here with 2 outs. First base isn't open, but you don't want to deal with the guy who is 3 for 4 on the day with 2 bombs.
First pitch, Colangelo hacking, gets a piece, foul ball, 0-1. Yeah, you don't want to intentionally walk the guy, because then the tying run comes, or the go-ahead run comes to the plate. You have the tying run aboard.
But you just don't want to pitch. You want to pitch around him, but not try and just bite the corners, stay outside, keep it out of his keep it out of his wheelhouse. He's crushed the ball. We've seen it twice. He's 4 for 3 on the day with 2 absolute bombs from that right-handed batter's box. You got Ashton Thomas coming up next, who's no slouch as well. Good part of the lineup for the Saints to come up.
Tried to check his swing, but they'll say he went around. And it's 1-2, and Colangelo disagrees. I thought he checked it out. We don't have the best angle from up here. We're up at the press box over home plate.
Yeah, that one didn't look close at all, though. The Saints faithful did not like that call either. Can see why Colangelo was a little ticked off with that one. However, you got to just wipe that off and step back into the box and make a play here.
Fouled off, just got a piece. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Colangelo battling.
Love to keep the gravy train flowing here. If Colangelo can get on, move it over to Thomas, maybe score a run, 2-out rally. Something that the Panthers have done a lot of, and we haven't seen as much of it out of the Saints.
Right. Colangelo able to lay off that last pitch. He's making Rodriguez work to get out of this inning. Panthers have a pitcher ready to go down in the bullpen should he be needed, and we hope he is needed. Runner breaks, and Colangelo strikes out to end it. The Saints, though, get a run. They climb back to within 10-7 as we head to the 9th. And welcome back. 10-7 Panthers as they bat here in the top of the ninth. Fourth pitcher of the day for the Saints is number 33, Gavin Barnell. Barnell, a 6'1" right-hander. Redshirt freshman out of Coral Springs, Florida. Barnell making his sixth appearance. He's worked just 1 2/3 innings, so very short appearances. Given up 2 hits, 1 run. Walked 4, struck out 2. First pitch is lined back up the middle for a base hit from DeHanis.
That one nearly took Barnell's head off there. Had to hit the one of the non-artificial parts of the infield, the mound. Barnell famously threw a perfect game, striking out 14 of 15 batters in a AAU game for the Florida Stealth.
Wow. A 5-inning game, presumably.
Yes.
15 batters?
Must have been a mercy rule.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah. Because, most of those AAU games will definitely go either 7 or 9, depending on if it's doubleheader or not. Usually you have your weekend doubleheaders in the AAU circuit. But you got the mercy rule, too, because sometimes those games can get out of hand in a hurry.
This is Paul Castillo, and he's behind 0-2. Castillo has an RBI single to his credit today. He's 1 for 4.
No, that is a we got a new catcher.
Good eye. Good spot. John Jordan spotted that. Is that number 13?
Number 13.
Is that right?
Yeah, it has to be Tyler Keith, unless we don't have a number 13 on the roster.
Yeah, it's 16. You're right. It's Tyler Keith. This one gets away from Keith.
First base occupied. It's a wild pitch.
So that'll go down as a strikeout, and the runner will advance on the wild pitch. Getting John Fiorenza a bit of a rest here, just in terms behind the plate. Got a lot of games coming up, especially quick turnaround going on the road tomorrow, going up to Georgia.
Batter's Jacob Newton. Newton has a couple of base hits today, scored a run, also a walk. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to replace the catcher in the 9th inning. I guess they're assuming that Fiorenza's spot in the order may not come around again.
Well, he is due up,
isn't he? So it's kind of interesting that Fiorenza, who has a couple of singles, is out of the game when his spot is due up.
Yeah, it's a strange move, Dave. Yeah, he's been hitting the ball extremely well in the last 4 or so, 5 or so games. Have Tyler Keith come in, who's not hit the ball nearly as well as John, but just looking to give him a rest, catching 9 straight innings of baseball. Do a number on the knees. You got to keep Johnny healthy at this point in the season. However, I agree with you. It is a strange move.
It's kind of strange. He's caught the whole game, and you would figure that Keith gets the start tomorrow. And so I hope there's not an issue somehow with Fiorenza that forced the Saints to make the change. Maybe they want to get Keith's bat in, but Fiorenza's got a couple of hits, so why not go with the guy who's performed well today? It's an interesting question. We'll bring it up in the postgame show. We'll ask Dave. By the way, Coach Barnett just 2 wins away from number 1,000.
Also, we're looking for a sideline reporter as well. Unpaid position. Supply your own camera.
This gets past Keith all the way to the backstop. And now DeHanis is at third base.
It's amazing, though. Coach Barnett, 2 wins away from 1,000 wins in what's been an illustrious Hall of Fame career in many facets.
That's
multi-time
right.
Hall of Famer.
Yes, he's in multiple Hall of Fames in his 35th season here as the head baseball coach, longtime athletic director. I think it was 15 years as the AD, oversaw a lot of the development of this very athletic complex. They added softball along the way during his tenure. 3-0 pitch is low, ball 4, and Parrish is aboard with the walk. First time Parrish has been on base today, and that brings up Dylan Owens. Owens has reached twice on errors, also a single, scored a couple of runs. And that will be one of the storylines of this game, the mistakes that were made that allowed the Panthers to score runs when the Saints would be close or presumably out of an inning.
It's not even no mental errors either, just physical things. You hate to see mental errors, but we didn't have any of those. You have the great play by Anthony Nofi to go over on a sacrifice bunt and try and cut down the lead runner at third. You have just an unfortunate scenario where Jaden Ward drops the ball, and that ball is kicked by the sliding runner over to the fence, and that allows him to score as well as the runner from second to advance to third.
8 of the 10 Panther runs are earned, so 2 unearned runs today. They lead it by 3, 10-7. With 2 outs and 2 on here in the 9th. And Barnell missed somewhere there. Get some groans out of the crowd.
A restless crowd in St. Augustine.
And that one is outside. And the bases are full of Panthers. That brings up Alec Eldridge, who has a couple of hits today, including an RBI double back in the 8th.
First base number 2, Alec Eldridge.
Yeah, this is a dangerous scenario. This game can quickly go out of reach here. Huge at bat for Eldridge. Huge appearance on the mound here for Barnell to get out of this. Got bases juiced with a guy who's batting .398 on the year. I'll say it again.
Wow.
It's just astonishing that you have a guy just bat with that high of an average, and got the bases juiced.
And he's 2 for 4, so that average is going to go up now.
Yeah, he's creeping closer and closer to 400.
So a meeting between Tyler Keith and Barnell.
Good job by Keith here not to let the moment get to the young arm on the mound. Just telling him, keep this game close, get this guy out. You've done it a million times. Just execute pitches. That's all you can ask for on the mound, is just to execute your pitches.
Well, if my math is right, Eldridge is now hitting .408 with those 2 hits. There's the 1-0 pitch to him. Big swing and a miss. There's another challenge pitch.
Fastball.
Yeah.
He might be in the scouting report. I'd love to get my hands on one of those after the game just to look it over, but they may have found a hole in Eldridge's swing. That high heater can be tough for some guys to get to.
Lays off the 1-1 pitch. Now 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Saints trying to keep within striking distance here in the 9th. Got a piece of that one. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, after that, as Jordan mentioned, the Saints go on the road for a 1-game visit to Valdosta State. It's about 2.5 hours away. Depending on traffic, the traffic through Jacksonville in particular. Valdosta's a nice little city.
Never been, Dave.
Big football, a big high school football place. And there's the strikeout. Ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Saints trail at 10-7. Bottom of the ninth, last up for the Saints. 10-7, Florida Tech on top. It'll be Ashton Thomas, Luke Wellborn, and Tyler Keith due up for Flagler. And the closer is in for the Panthers, Alex Carpenter, a 6'1" right-hander from Satellite Beach, Florida, transfer from Eastern Florida, is in. Carpenter has not allowed an earned run, not allowed a run, in fact, this season. He's making his 12th appearance. He has 5 saves and a 1-0 record. Florida Tech has really approached this as, you know, a meaningful type game. I mean, they've used, is it 5 pitchers now? Mm-hmm. They got their save guy in, their closer guy in the middle of the week, trying to lock down a win.
It's the respect that the writers may not have shown Flagler without, they haven't yet voted for them as a ranked team. But this shows the respect that other teams have for Flagler College's baseball program this season. They're a good team. Bringing out the closer, who has done fantastic, really.
He's
just shutting the door.
He's a lights out type guy for sure. Flagler picked to finish in a tie for 6th in the preseason coaches poll in the Peach Belt. Right now in 2nd place in the conference behind Columbus State. Columbus State 25-5 overall, 10-2 in the PBC. Saints are 9-3. Young Harris and Georgia Southwestern both 8-4. There is Luke Wellborn, who has 1 for 4 today. Well, the Saints are within reach. They certainly need base runners.
Need base runners and need them in a hurry, Dave.
Foul back, 1-2. Saints visit Valdosta State tomorrow. They lost to Valdosta here on March 2nd, 1-0. Beautifully pitched game. And then back to conference action. And a 3-game set at Georgia College starting on Friday.
Good battle here by Wellborn, just fouling off every single fastball that's shown to him over the plate.
We've passed the 3-hour mark, by the way, of this game.
Been an exciting game, though.
It really has been a fun one. It's moved along pretty well. Lots of scoring, 17 runs, 26 hits, 6 errors combined. Lots of pitchers. I think it's 5 pitchers for Florida Tech. There's the strikeout of Wellborn, and the Saints are down to the last out. And 4 pitchers for Flagler, so 9 pitchers used so far. And here comes Tyler Keith. We mentioned he came in as a defensive replacement in the top of the 9th for John Fiorenzo, who had a couple of hits in the game. So hopefully John's okay, and they just want to get Keith's bat in there.
Seen diminished playing time this year. Got a lot of burn last year with the injury to John Fiorenzo. But with Fiorenzo back in the everyday lineup, the at-bats have kind of dried up for Keith. We've seen him in designated hitting role quite a few times. Just that really hasn't turned on for him yet. Only batting .222 on the year.
Yeah, just 54 at-bats coming in, 12 hits. There's the 0-1 pitch to him. It's high and outside, ball 1. That one stays outside, ball 2. Keith is good at getting on base despite the .222 average. He has a .368 on base percentage. He works walks. He gets hit by a lot of pitches.
It's a ball magnet. Some people have a knack for it. Not something most people would enjoy, but as a catcher, he's used to wearing balls off the chest.
Here's a line drive, and it's going to be a base hit to left field, so the Saints stay alive, and it's another hit out of the catcher position. 3 singles between Fiorenza and Keith,
Third baseman, number 11.
and that brings up Jaden Ward.
And who's running it first?
Griffin Garcia set to pinch run here for Tyler Keith.
And first for the Saints, number 2, Griffin Garcia.
Get a bit of speed on the base paths here. And you got Jaden Ward up to the plate. Ward has been on a tear, just hitting the cover off the baseball the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, doubled and scored his last time up in the 8th. He's 1 for 4 today. That one bounced to the plate. Rodriguez has been a little wild. Yeah, it's nice to see the guys who are kind of question marks like Colangelo, Jaden Ward. Even Ashton Thomas wasn't supposed to be necessarily a regular in the lineup. Had to earn his way in with the hitting, and they've all hit well.
No, it's that they were spots where we really didn't know what to expect out of them, and guarantee you Dave Barnett's ecstatic about the production he's gotten, especially from Jaden Ward, who third base was a platoon spot, especially considering just like some of the defensive mishaps that he's had. But batting .351, that's he could be the worst fielder in the Peach Belt Conference. He could bat .351, will be in the lineup.
He'll be in the lineup, absolutely. And shown some power, 3 homers, striven in 12, and trying to keep the game going here. Saints down by 3 with 2 outs in the 9th. A ground ball, slow roller to second, but this should do it. And that is the ball game. Florida Tech wins it 10-7. 10 runs on 14 hits with 3 errors for the Panthers. And for the Saints, 7 runs on 13 hits, also 3 errors. Your thoughts, Jordan, on how this one played out?
It was a high-scoring affair on both sides. Lots of offense. The Saints allowed the Panthers to play their game. The Saints, if all things are considered, want it to be a low-scoring game, get into the strengths that they have, manufacture runs. They're not the power-hitting team. They're not the team that's going to put up 10 runs in a game often. They allowed the Panthers to play their game, and when you try and play another team's game, most of the time you're going to lose. Tough loss for the Saints. However, look, they have every opportunity to bounce back on the road tomorrow, and then they are on the road back in conference this weekend.
Right, absolutely. So with the loss, Flagler is 16-14. Florida Tech improves to 25-9. The final again, 10-7 Panthers.